All right, so thank you everybody for being a part of Astral Creations today. I am Brad Johnson. I'm the host of today's event. And so Astral Creations is going to be a really exciting event today. We're going to be looking at certain things that I and Adronis have never talked about before. Now, basically the inspiration I got to do Astral Creations actually came from a session. There was a person that I talked to, one of my clients, and basically they were talking about astral technology. And Adronis was giving a very detailed discussion about how astral technology works, and that there are many different civilizations beyond our world that rely on astral technology. They don't use our nuts and bolts technology that we would understand here on Earth. To them, that's primitive mumbo jumbo in that way, right? So they don't work in that particular type of arrangement as it comes to nuts and bolts technology. Their technology is astral. And there may be a question saying, well, if this technology is astral, how can it exist in the physical world? Well, astral technology has the ability to condense itself in a certain way. It may not fully immerse into our physical dimension, although it certainly could. But basically, the whole purpose of the astral technology is to remain primarily within the astral realms. Now, our own physical realm is part of the astral realm itself. So if we're looking here at the astral realm, this is the astral. Basically, we're seeing a vortex that's coming down here. Okay? This little looping vortex here would be the aspect of our physical realm. Okay, so you can understand that the physical realm is just a highly condensed, lower aspect in regards to molecular acceleration. It's just a lower condensed realm. So our physicality, just being able to have this solid structure here, solid matter, is all part of just feeling this condensed aspect. So the astral realm is operating in a very high accelerated frequency. So basically the molecular level is moving in a much higher rate. So basically when we're utilizing physical reality, we're seeing this cone, we're seeing this tunnel, vortex coming through. It's kind of like how you would understand how a vortex works, that you have gas, that you have water, that you have ice, right? That's basically what it represents pertaining to the physical realm. So we're basically in that ice realm in that way. Then we have basically these midpoints, which would be, again, liquid in that way. Then, of course, we're moving up here to gas, and then, of course, moving up into plasma, right? So that's getting the idea about how the astral realm associates together with the physical realm. So that's, again, a little neat tidbit there. Just kind of giving a bit of a brief introduction of how that works. Yeah, hope this thing erases okay, but anyways, that's just giving a little bit of an overview of it. So what we're going to talk about today with Astral Creations is, firstly, we're going to take a look at the mechanics of thought. Then we're going to be talking about working with thought form. Then we're going to be looking at astral technology exercise. So we're actually going to be able to tune into ourselves and actually see if we can construct an astral technology, right? That's the cool thing about astral technology. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be an expert mechanic. You don't have to be an electrician in that way. All of this is created through thought, right? And a lot of the gadgets we're going to be creating today are going to just be very simple. I'm not going to complicate anything in that way. Basically, these are gadgets that are personally assigned to you, something that you can create. And what you're doing is you're creating a physical anchor to being able to access that little astral gadget that you're able to create. Now, I'm going to be talking about this in a little bit more detail between the idea of the device and the anchor. Okay. Now, the anchor is important. As we just saw in this previous example with the vortex, so if the device is right here, we're basically pulling a rod, we're pulling a tether down, and we're creating an anchor to being able to connect with that astral realm, right? Because again, we're existing in this physical, condensed astral realm. But it is possible to, again, create that tether and move it down so that the technology that you create astrally is actually able to have an effect. Now, what is one particular example of a technology? Again, we're going to get into this a little bit later. One particular form of technology that you can create is an automatic chakra cleaner, right? So that is what we're going to be doing today. That's one of the technologies we're going to develop today. This is exciting, guys. This is going to be fun, right? We're going to have a lot of excitement here today. All you have to do is tune into that anchor, and after you build that particular form of technology, it works. So you're basically in a meditative state. You're keeping that anchor in any way that you wish close to you. And as you're concentrating on that anchor, technology starts to work automatically on your chakras. You don't have to do anything but focus on the anchor. Okay, that's one of the cool things that we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so that's one of the astral technology exercises. The astral technology benefits. Well, one of the example, the astral chakra machine, right? That's, again, going to be really fun to explore a lot more. Understanding singularity. Now, singularity would basically be our power source, because some people may ask, well, how does this astral technology get its power source? And the answer is singularity. Not through the idea of creating this, 1,000 light year wide black hole in that way, but being able to tap into singularity just utilizing our atoms, right? So basically being able to link our own singularity consciousness, our own singularity structure pertaining to the technology in question is the power source. So we're utilizing our own miniature black holes that represent atoms as the power source, as the relay, and as the information source to actually being able to construct this technology. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that. Working with singularity technology and healing. So again, developing a lot of healing technologies in the astral realm and seeing how this can work for you as well too. And of course, we'll be getting into Adronis, and Adronis is going to share his perspective on astral technology and singularity integration. And then we're going to be going into Q&A. Okay, so we got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, guys, if you do have questions, you can feel free to post it on the Q&A, but I'm not going to be getting to questions until I'm done the presentation, just up until about here. Then I'll just check in. So if you guys do have any questions just in regards to what I've shared from this part on to down about here, if you guys do have questions, you can put that in the Q&A chat. I'll be checking the Q&A right after this particular segment here. Okay, so let's put a little line there to remind me of that. Once Adronis comes in, he'll share his information, and then of course we'll go into a general Q&A with Adronis as well. Okay, all right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So the mechanics of thought. How does thought work? What's the deal with thought? How does it operate? Well, thought itself is a pattern of consciousness. Okay, so basically, if we have two circles here, this will represent a similar geometry to what we may be familiar with. This is what's known as the vesica piscis. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we're just seeing these two shells of conscious awareness and of raw consciousness. Okay, so our own awareness combined with the rawness of consciousness combined creates this particular womb in the middle in that way. And that womb in the middle represents the idea of thought, right? So thought is a pattern created by a creative, conscious, aware being utilizing raw, conscious source information, source energy to encode information into it. So basically you could think of thought as coherency, right? That is basically the idea. Now, physicists have no clue what energy is. That's their funny thing, right? They don't know how to even understand how energy functions in that particular way. Now, basically, energy itself is what I call C3. Not C3PO, just kidding here, guys. So it is three C's, basically in that way. It is condensed, conscious, coherency. That is the definition of energy. Okay? That is how energy works. But it's not just energy itself, it is the pattern. Now, our own universe is a gigantic grid. It is a dynamic, which means that it is a life form. It is alive. Okay? It is an organism. So if we're basically looking at this grid here, everything within the universe itself is teeming with life. It's not just what we find on planets. It's not just what we find on moons, etc. Everything within the universe is alive. It is a creative dynamic. It is always in a state of flux, right? So basically, everything that makes the universe what it is patternized through the idea of energy, is patternized through the idea of the C3, the condensed conscious coherency. Now, again, this may seem complicated to some, I understand that. But again, this is just giving us an idea about how thought works. So one who is aware is able to administer thought, is being able to encode a program of thought. Now, our own conscious selves, our own conscious body, is not capable of developing thought, okay? The idea of us as a creator being, the idea of us actually being an awareness essence, is basically on a grander scale that which works together in unity, okay? So there's no individuality as it pertains to this conscious essence, to this being, this creator awareness, right? Everything pertaining to creator awareness is a monad or a group consciousness, right? So just as we have the connected grid here, all of us are connected. So basically you say, well, where does thought come from? It comes from all of us as part of a whole, not just from the Earth experiment, not just from the star system, not just from this galaxy, but the entire universe. The entire universe as a whole is a gigantic network, and it's all part of us. And we are basically the ones that are being able to conjure up these particular forms of energies and thought patterns and distribute them throughout galaxies, throughout other different galaxies, throughout the universe itself. This is why when if you're actually able to go to different worlds, which who knows, in the next few generations we'll be able to, but being able to go into worlds in your own consciousness, like what I have experienced, you'll discover that many other sentient civilizations existing on, for example, exoplanets or Earth-like planets, if you actually review their history, you'll see that there's a lot of common ground as it pertains to technology, which means you can see other civilizations having a bow and arrow. You can see other civilizations having teepees or huts. You can see other civilizations starting to build houses. You can see other civilizations starting to build roads, right? All of this is commonplace, right? We are not accessing anything new when it comes to the Earth experiment. So the Earth herself and the people upon her Earth about receiving all this technology, even if it's something that's primitive and archaic, and everything right now that's cutting edge and modern, all of this has been done before, right? We're not accessing anything new. So basically the universe is spreading its own thought seeds. So again, we're part of a unified field. So basically the whole idea of thought, the mechanics of thought, is something that is shared. Now basically that may say, somebody may say, well, everything's shared, that means that I don't have an original idea. Well, no, that's not true. You do have original idea, because that's what makes us so unique when we're looking at technology. Astral technology and of course other forms of innovations, is that the conduit with the soul essence incubated within that energy, this body, and this essence that is a part of this body, the uniqueness of spirit, the uniqueness of mind, the uniqueness of feeling, brings out the true, genuine quality of an idea, right? This is kind of the paradox, is even though there are many different thought forms that collate together with our own inventions, it is the person that is receiving that particular thought form that is bringing a very unique signature to how that invention, to how that idea or concept is administered into reality. That's what makes it unique. It's kind of like if we're seeing a bunch of children gathered around a table and they're all playing with, say, 5 or 6 toys, right? Now, one child that has a car will start to drive it around the ground. We'll start just pushing it and pulling it in that way. Another kid will pick it up and start using the string and start dragging it along. Another person will just pick it up and maybe just start rolling it around their body, right? What we've basically done here is those 3 kids that played with that one toy gave a unique perspective on that single invention, right? Now that is giving us the idea about how thought works. So the thought itself is something that is always going to be uniquely shared by the individual who conceives it. That's what makes reality so exciting, because again, if it's just something that's abysmal, right? We're just looking at all of this, common thought. Here, okay, I got this thought. I'm going to go create this. Oh, it's not exciting. And everybody uses it the same way. Well, then it's going to be pretty boring, right? So we always utilize our own particular forms of perceptions as it relates to technology, as it relates to how we exist in our life. Everybody gives a unique signature to everything else. That's what makes Earth so exciting. That's what makes so many other planets so exciting, is we have this unique perspective. Now, again, other planets exist in different ways. based upon how they are constructed. But with humanity, we are very much favored as creative geniuses. This is why we're going through certain forms of trade exchanges through the secret space program, etc., is because humanity has the way of taking the mechanics of thought and just making it so unbelievably unique that we're always hungry to advance something. Many civilizations don't do that. They say, okay, we got a basic ship here, it works. We don't need to upgrade it. Why would we need to upgrade it? We don't need to advance this. We don't need to make it more sleek. Why would we do that? We have a flying saucer here. We're able to transport ourselves into different dimensions. Why would we need to do anything else, right? Humanity doesn't think that way. Oh, no, 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 no. Come on. I want this way more sleek. I want to have a much more aerodynamic design. I like to see if we can work with a new type of alloy. I want to work with different dimensional constructs. I want to work with so many different forms of systems that we can put in the craft. And it's like the beings are looking at us and going like that. They can't believe that we can do this. They can't believe that we have such creative temptation, this ability to have this hunger to continue to better something. That is unbelievable to them. They said only a god could do something like that, right? This is literal, right? This is exactly what they say about us, is that we are like creative geniuses. Adronis calls us gods in training, right? Because that's really what we are. We're gits. If you're English, you'll get the joke. We're git. Gods in training. But that's the whole idea, is that we bring so much uniqueness, and that's what's so interesting about our mechanics of thought patterns, about how we're able to administer thought and bring thought into our awareness, is that we're able to really bring such a unique perspective and better it and improve it, create new versions of it. To us, that's just common. That's very natural to us. To other extraterrestrial beings, to extra-dimensional beings, their jaw is to the ground. Oh, I can't believe humanity does this. How the hell do they do that? So this is why we are so fascinating to so many different species throughout galaxies, throughout the universe, is that humanity has this really unique quality. We're rainbow surfers in that way, right? We're able to surf the spectrum in that particular way. But anyways, I'm going to get off of that because that's a whole different topic within itself. But this is just giving a bit of an overview about energy and thoughts and the mechanics of it. Okay? So each of us gives it that unique signature. We are basically, again, just like as if we were to connect to the World Wide Web, connect to the internet, and we're receiving these web pages, right? We're receiving all this information. We're putting something together. We're making it unique for ourselves to convey, to express, to share, right? That's what's so unique about humanity, is to have this mechanics of thought that we use so uniquely and genuinely, okay? So again, thought pattern, all part of the conscious awareness and the raw consciousness that comes together and creates that womb in the middle that represents the birth of thought, okay? So again, that is coming from our greater selves in that way of speaking. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to start working with thought form, okay? So this is a simple little exercise that I just want you guys to go ahead and feel free to participate with. I just want you guys to close your eyes right now, okay? Just take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just relax yourself. Just get nice and comfortable. I just want you to feel yourself now just lifting up your right hand, okay? Just having your palm facing outwards. And as your eyes are closed, I just want you to imagine that you're holding an apple in your hand, okay? Go ahead and just imagine that there's an apple in your hand right now. Okay. And now I just want you to start feeling what that apple is like being held in your hand. What does it feel like? Is it soft? Is it hard? Okay, and I just want you to start looking at that apple. What does it look like? Is it red? Is it green? Maybe is it a different color? Is it clean and pure and raw? Is it old or bitter? Is there bruises on it? That's up to you, right? Just being able to get a feeling of that texture, the feeling of having that apple in your hand. Okay? Now, if you want to take it up to your mouth and bite on it, go for it. Take a taste of the apple. Pretty good? Or does it taste like crap? It's up to you. Okay? And now you're just going to see that apple disappear. Okay? So again, let's take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And you can open your eyes and you can come on back. Okay? So what did we just do? We created a thought form. That's what we did. Now, basically creating a thought form is the idea of like accessing a library, okay? So let's say right here that we have a catalog, okay? And this catalog is contained within the Akashic Records, okay? So we're accessing the Akashic Records catalog. We're closing our eyes and we're saying, okay, Akashic Records, we may not even say it in that way, but okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and imagine an apple in my hand, bam. Now, as soon as you think that, the catalog of relationship connects right to the Akashic Records and it comes right back to you in an instant. Bam, okay? That's a thought form. What you have done is you have pulled something up from the Akashic Records catalog and you have placed it in your hand, okay? So this is just a simple apple, right? However you envisioned it. You could create a blue apple. You could create a purple apple. You could create an apple where there's animation in it. Maybe there's a little girl dancing inside, right? That's up to you. This is pure creation. Because what we are doing is we are accessing the catalog of the Akashic Records and we are pulling up a thought form, right? And when we, again, put different designs into that original thought, the thought of an apple, okay? So now I want to make it blue. Well, we understand that apples aren't blue. So I added a new thought form on that, okay? I'm gonna see a girl dancing inside the apple. Boom, there's another thought form, okay? I'm putting thought forms on top of these things because I'm seeing it through my own perception, through my eyes closed. Now, can I do that in physical reality? No, probably not. Unless I take out like a paintbrush and start painting the apple, you know, you have to do a lot of physical things to represent that. But we're not playing with the physical realm here. We're playing with the astral realm. So what we're doing is we're creating a thought form, okay? So the thought form of an apple, the thought form of it being blue, the thought form of seeing a little woman or a little man dancing inside, right? All of that is thought form placed on top of thought form, okay? That is what a thought form is. So basically, when we start working with thought form, we are designing something that, again, may serve us, or just maybe something that looks interesting, right? So when we're playing together with thought form, this is the astral technology, okay? Astral technology equals thought form, okay? So I'll put AT equals TF, okay? Astral technology equals thought form, okay? That is how astral tech works. So basically, with many of these different beings that exist in the astral realms, they are able to instantaneously manifest things, you know, because they are aware of a catalog. They have relationships pertaining to objects. They have relationships in regards to any particular type of material that they feel will serve. Now, you can get really, really, really complex with thought forms because it is pure creation. It is no more different than going into your dream state at night, having a lucid dreaming experience and being able to create this whole world. That is how powerful astral technology is. You can create worlds, you can create galaxies, you can create universes utilizing astral technology. Oh, but Brad, is it real? Yes, it is real, right? It doesn't correlate to our physical plane unless we create an anchor, right? Which we'll be getting into in a little bit. So basically, in the astral realms, we have all of these grids, we have all this capability to create this astounding technology in any way we wish. We can even create relationships. We can even create thought form people, right? If you feel, for example, that one of your parents passed away many years ago and you would like to talk to them, you can still communicate with their essence, of course, but you can also create a thought form body. You can actually create a created body. And if that is something that they want to associate with in spirit, that's up to them. But what you're basically doing is you're creating a memory device. You're actually being able to spend time in a thought form environment and actually being able to create this projection of a parent that may have passed away. Now, if their soul agrees to interacting with that particular conduit, that would have to be up to a co-creation, right? Now, sometimes people just want to dialogue completely with the soul. And that's what I would always recommend first, is being able to dialogue directly with the soul. But if they are okay with you being able to develop a created body thought form of them and actually being able to come through in that way as a convenience, many of them will work with that, right? So again, if it's a husband or a wife that passed away, or if it's a best friend or a parent or whoever it may be that have passed away in the past, and you feel that you have a hard time communicating with them, now you're able to create these thought forms, okay? Now, what does it take to create these particular thought forms? Do we have to be very, very clairvoyant? Well, clairvoyance definitely helps because it helps you to get an understanding more about how the mechanism works. But it's not a requirement, really. If you are able to really feel that energy, you can work together in a type of compensation. Basically, what that means is now you can just start drawing out pictures. in the physical realm and getting an idea about how a certain astral technology works. Again, if it's a loved one that has passed away, you can use their photo, right? And you can just imagine that they're standing directly in front of you. Maybe they had a favorite suit and tie they wore. Maybe they had a favorite dress that they wore, right? And you can envision them in that way. And now you're basically just talking to the spirit that once occupied their physical body and saying that I would like to communicate with you through this thought form avatar, okay? So you created an avatar for them. If they are in agreement with that, they'll start utilizing that avatar either in your meditative states or in your dream states, okay? Because that's an agreement that you're creating here. That's something you're producing. So you're actually creating a thought form avatar body, okay? Kind of like the movie Avatar, you know, where they go inside those booths, they go inside those pods, they close their eyes, they enter rapid eye movement sleep, REM sleep, and they transport their consciousness from one body into another, okay? Now that's more of a physicality, of course, but that's also something that you can do in the dream plane. You can actually design a dream avatar body, right? This is why when some people can actually look in a mirror in a dream, they'll start seeing themselves a little bit different. Like with me right here, I have dark hair, hazel eyes. I may be able to look into a mirror, and all of a sudden my hair is long and it's blonde, right? Now it's blue eyes, now I look like a Adronis, right? That's one example. What I've done is that many times we unconsciously create a dream avatar, right? With a thought form, you can consciously create your body. It's kind of like one of those role-playing games, you know, where you create a character, right? When you start to interact with the astral realm, be it through dream space or be it through meditation, you're able to program, configure your own body as you go off into sleep, right? Now, again, just like I was talking about in the Dream Mastery workshop last month, is that we are capable of being able to bring this forward as long as we're able to create a relationship with it, as long as we're able to bond with it. We want to integrate this understanding. We want to make sure that that anchor is solidified in our minds. And now we can create a dream avatar, right? So if we're saying, oh, I don't want this physical body in the dream plane or meditation state, I want to see myself as an illuminated being of light. You can do that too, right? It's pure creation. It's pure creativity. That's the whole idea about being able to create these thought forms. Pure creativity coming together, all right? So that's just giving us a bit of an overview about how we can work with thought forms. Being able to realize that we are playing with pure creation. Sorry guys, it's not a very good eraser, so hopefully everybody can see this okay. But anyways, working with thought form, that's just giving us an overview about the kind of things that we can do. Well, before we get into this astral technology exercise, let me give a bit of an overview about the demonstration technology that we're going to be creating, okay? So, as I talked about just in the beginning of the event, is that we're going to be looking into a chakra clearing device, okay? A device that can actually work to configure your chakra centers based upon certain moods. Now, of course, like any other type of technology, you can upgrade this, you can advance it in any particular way you prefer. Now, the chakra clearing device in this example is just going to work on one specific chakra because we just don't have time to do all 7, okay? We're going to work on one specific chakra in this exercise. So, all I'm going to do right now is just kind of draw out the schematic. And as I draw out the schematic, I'll share some information as I'm creating this. And then we're going to go into a bit of a meditation, and then we're just going to see ourselves creating this particular type of schematic. Now, this is a schematic, not the actual technology itself, because you will be responsible for how this technology appears, because it's your tech. You're creating it, okay? So basically what we're doing is we are invoking singularity. 1, 2, 3, okay? And now we're just putting another sphere, another spiral in the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, okay? Now it looks a little bit messy, but basically what we've done is we've created a clockwise spiral with 3 circles, and then in the direct center we've created a counterclockwise spiral in 3 circles. Why do we do that? Because that is our input and output, okay? So basically any mechanic will tell you, yeah, if you want to develop a device, it needs to have an input and output flow, right? So basically this is telling us about our input and our output, okay? When I build radionics boxes in that particular way, this is, again, the first step. You need to have an input and output. This is the power source, okay? So the power source is coming through our own atoms. So basically what you're doing is you're looking at that symbol that you've created clockwise, counterclockwise, And you're just placing your hand there, or if you can just envision that symbol, and you're just placing that feeling in your body, that this singularity is now linking together with the atoms within my body, which means your own atoms are the power source to this singularity. Okay, so the singularity is the power source. So what we want to do now is we're creating a tether that's going to go down, because this is representing a circuit. And now we're going to work on a particular chakra of your choosing. You will decide the type of chakra you want to work with. If it's your root chakra, if it's your solar plexus, if it's your throat, if it's your third eye, that's entirely up to you. What I'm going to do in this particular example is I'm just going to work with my root. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little circle here. And again, this is no more different than like a blueprint, as if you were to actually create a schematic. Okay. And now I'm going to put a little symbol inside that helps me to understand that this is my root chakra. Okay. Now, basically, how a person may want to create this schematic is if they have like a red felt marker for the root chakra and they want to color that in and representing the root chakra. You can do it in any way you wish, anything you want. So in my own particular case, I'm just going to put the letter R in there. That represents my root chakra, okay? But you can put absolutely anything you want that helps describe that chakra, okay? If you want to feel that this may be an earth chakra, maybe you want to put this on your computer and just say, I'm just going to put a little globe of the earth right down here. And that's going to be my symbolism of how I'm going to connect with the root chakra. Fantastic. Go for it. It's your creation. It's your manifestation here, right? So basically what we're doing here is we're creating singularity. We have connected that energy into our atomic structure. Our atoms are now the singularities that are powering this astral device. And now we have our input, and our output. And we now have this little tether that's coming down, and it's connecting to our root chakra. We have imprinted by thought that this circle represents our root chakra, okay? So that is basically the imprint that I'm putting together in this particular schematic. Now we need to tell exactly what this device is going to do, okay? So as it connects here, we can put, I'm just gonna put, for example, 2 particular aspects about what this is going to do. So here is our root chakra. What I have done is I've created 2 branches. What this is also going to do is this is going to create a 3rd branch. Okay, this is a circuit. So the first thing that I want to do, which I will put number 1 right here, and again, I'm putting that in, I'm instituting that by thought. The first thing that it is going to do in its matrix is it's going to clear out the root chakra. So what is that definition about if I want to clear out energy? Well, in past videos, I talked about how if you use a counterclockwise spiral, right, counterclockwise direction, that is the direction for purging, okay? So basically, I'm telling my schematic here that I'm putting in a counterclockwise spiral, as this is helping the energy to purge. So if there's debris in my root chakra, I want to firstly clear that out. It's kind of like a washer and dryer. Remember, we got to wash our clothes first, then we can dry them, right? That's basically how I'm seeing it in this particular way. So I'm putting a number 1 right here through the root chakra. I'm going to purge that energy out, okay? So I'm just allowing any particular debris, anything that may be clogged, any form of clutter in that root chakra. It's now being evacuated, okay? So we're going to also get into the flow of how that returns back into singularity. Okay, so number 2 here is going to be the opposite of that direction. We're now going to start integrating energy, okay? So it's kind of like we're just closing our eyes and we're feeling all this harmonious light coming through. And we're just seeing this spiral above our heads moving in a clockwise direction and bringing all this harmonious light that is coming directly into our root chakra. Now, if you want to give it a certain color vibration, which I would probably recommend, as the root chakra works within a red frequency, that would be great. So being able to see like the soft red light, just being able to come through and enter your root chakra, and it's clearing it out and you're feeling this joy, right? That's the feeling you want to input into direction number 2, okay? So again, as you're drawing out this clockwise spiral, you're just imagining that that red light is coming through. It's completely harmonizing your root chakra. Great, okay? Only takes a few seconds. That's what you're imprinting, okay? Now you do have an option. If you just want to create these symbols first and then spend some time in being able to imprint these particular symbols with your own intentions, you can do that as well too. So you can draw the schematic first, and then you can imprint everything else afterwards, okay? That's something you can do. What I'm basically doing is I'm just imprinting as I go along here. But again, this is your creation. You decide what you want to do, okay? So what we're gonna do now is that once we have gone to number 2 here, because we have this connection, we're going to put a third one right here, okay? And we're just gonna put a little circle here. And this is gonna come back into singularity, okay? So this little circle here, maybe I'll make it a little bigger so people can see it a bit. This bigger circle right here is representing the energy of being able to take that energy from what we have just released and brought into ourselves and just being able to bring it up into singularity, okay? So we've basically taken that energy out, we have replenished that energy, now we can take that energy back into singularity, okay? This is just a common aspect. This is just something that is a convenience in that way. You do not have to create this particular schematic, but as I like to bring it back into singularity and bring it back into ether, that's fine. You can basically just do this particular schematic without this part. This part is optional, okay? But this is just my own common courtesy, is that if I'm basically taking energy out that I don't need, right? If I've already been able to clear it, if I've already been able to integrate new energy, and I still have that energy stagnant, then I want to just be able to take that energy and put it back into singularity so that it can be used for something else, okay? So it's basically as if we're imagining that all of the energy that we have taken out and all of the energy we have scrubbed down, we now have this energy here. What are we going to do with it? We're now just going to put it back into singularity. And that singularity is connected to ourselves, right? So that energy is in a way going back to ourselves. It's just going back into our own atoms of singularity, okay? So basically, whatever particular form of harmonious symbol that you want to create in that way. If I want to say, for example, I'll create a Merkaba, okay? There's my symbol about how it's going to purge out of my body, how it's been cleansed, and now that energy is raw. So I'm going to take that energy, I'm going to put it back into my singularity. I'm going to restore it back into my body, okay? That's it. This is the schematic. So again, I want to make it clear, this is optional. All you really need is 1 and 2, okay? So 1 and 2 is just basically helping you to take that energy and clean it out and purge it out, and then being able to replenish that energy in a cleaning cycle in that way, and having your root chakra harmonized. So again, this is just my own little thing. So up to you on that one. Okay, that's it. We have developed our very first astral technology, right? That's it. This is all you need. Now, if you want to give it like a fancy interface in the astral realm, you can certainly do that as well too. You could see it, for example, as a cube, okay? But the most important thing, firstly, is that you understand the schematic. You understand exactly how it functions, okay? Just like any mechanic, just like any electrician, any inventor in that sense, they have to know how their device works, okay? So if you're putting it in a cube and you're able to integrate all of this into the cube, and maybe all you have to do is look into this circle here, and you just see a red pulsing light, okay? If you're able to design that, that's great. That's a little bit more advanced, but if you're able to design a simple cube like that where there's an opening and you see this red light, because everything that this represents has been configured through this schematic, okay? So that's for more of like the passionate inventors in the room, right? But all you really need is this, is just the schematic, okay? So what you're doing now, the final part, is we're being able to create the anchor, the interface. Now again, you can utilize this as an anchor. That's a little bit more of an advanced aspect. But as we understand that, firstly, what did we do here? We created the schematic. We created the singularity. We have our input, we have our output, okay? We're tethering that down to a particular chakra center, to our root chakra, okay? We're going to the next step here, which is, again, purging that energy out. We're going to the next step here, which is replenishing that energy with red light, okay? So now that energy is harmonized. Now we can take that energy and we put it back into the singularity of ourselves, and our body decides what to do with that energy. Because again, it's going back into our own atomic singularity, okay? That's the schematic. So what we want to do now is we want to create an anchor. We want to create a tether, okay? And this is going to lead us into our short meditation once we have an anchor or tether created, okay? So as I said, this little thought form box here, if that's something that you want to create, If that's something that you feel may be a good anchor, you can do that as well too, right? It's just a simple interface, a simple anchor. It doesn't have to be anything complicated, right? It could be a pyramid with, again, these kind of fancy rivets. You can flip the pyramid, and at the bottom of the base, you start seeing this red light fluctuate, right? If that's your anchor, great, okay? But it doesn't have to be that complicated, okay? So what we're doing is in the physical plane, we have just a little box here, and we're just putting something into the box that basically gives the relationship of this entire technology that we just created, okay? So whatever that may be for you. For me, I'm just going to create a little light circuit. Okay? So I'm going to create a solid circle going down, a little intersection right here, okay? And an open circle right here. Okay? That is my symbol. That is my anchor to being able to utilize this technology. Okay? So basically what I'm doing is I'm just taking all the energy of this schematic and I'm placing it in here. So it's almost as if I'm imagining that this schematic is condensing and putting itself into this anchor. Okay? And you can also utilize that with affirmation. You may want to give this device a name. Okay? As soon as you give it a name, you have now put it in the Akashic catalog, okay? Because again, something like this exists, but we're giving relationship to it. So what do you want to name this device? You have to say, whatever that is, okay? So if I want to call it the chakra clearer, right? The chakra clearer, to me it's simple, right? So I'm calling it the chakra clearer. And so I'm basically seeing all of this here, this entire schematic as the chakra clearer device that is available in the astral realm. Now that I have imprinted a name on it, I'm basically telling my own subconscious that everything pertaining to the astral clearer is now coming into this tether. So I've already created that particular symbol. That is my own mind telling me I am linked to this. So what do I do now? Well, now that I have that anchor, I'm now just going to start meditating on it. I'm just going to make that anchor a part of my reality. I've put this tether on this schematic, and I'm just meditating on that energy. I'm just sitting with that energy. I can just create that symbol. I can put it by my couch, and I can just stare at it. And I'm basically giving the intention to activate this technology. So whether it's on my lap, whether it's on my couch, whether I'm envisioning the symbol in my mind, I'm just keeping it there because I've already provided the instructions about how this works, okay? I've already developed a schematic. I've already said that this exists in the astral realm. That when I connect to this little button, when this little symbol here, that's like me pressing a button and saying, okay, machine, go to work, right? Now you just sit in it. You sit in it for as long as you need to until you feel that your root chakra is starting to work, right? Because what you've done is you've programmed it. Well, some might say, well, Brad, what if I created this schematic and I don't feel like anything's really happening? Okay. Then you want to go over your schematic and you want to make sure that you have imprinted all of the appropriate information about what these components represent, okay? So singularity, you need to see that singularity within your atoms. That's the power source, okay? So basically, it's not just looking in the idea of the singularity of your atoms. These atoms have a unique signature to you. It is your own life force. It is your own energy of singularity that is powering this to you, okay? So you want to make that as personal to you as possible. If you want to feel you're just taking that thing right off the board or right off the page, and you're putting it right into your heart, and you're feeling the atoms in the heart just starting to bond together with this, fantastic. That's great because that's what you want. You want to make all of these have relationship, okay? All of these need to be connected to you as a component, okay? So once you have imprinted all of that information into these component areas, now you're ready to go. Now you create your anchor. This is like your button, right? So it's like creating a little box, and on the front of this box is that little symbol. Press it, right? And now just sit. Just sit in that energy. You've already given a definition about what this is meant to do, and now you're pressing that button, and now the astral technology can go to work, okay? For as long as you continue to concentrate on that symbol. Now, there can be other ways as well, too, because it gets a little bit advanced. It's a lot of advanced stuff. We could spend hours on this, literally, right? You can also create other particular forms of imageries that this will continue to work for as long as you press that button, right? Even if you're only meditating just for a few minutes, this will continue to work throughout your entire day, right? So if you want to have the root chakra purging and replenishing energies all day while you're driving your car, while you're going to work, while you're with the kids, whether you're doing homework, whatever it is, right? All of that has the capability to continue to work because you have coded it in that particular way. So Brad, what would I do to code that? Well, what you would need to do is you would need to add the schematic, okay? So this is our Astral technology. This is our schematic. This is what we're doing, okay? And we're basically just putting more forms of information appropriately where it needs to go, okay? So we would want to create another particular component within this grid that connects, okay? And we'd need to, again, like a circuit that connects all these things together. If I just want to say I want this to continuously run until it stops, well then, until I personally stop it, then I need to create that particular symbol. What does that symbol mean to me? If I want this running 24/7, and I said, okay, that's enough, stop, right? Basically, we want to create some type of symbol that tells the schematic to do that, okay? And again, it is imprinted in this little example here. So whatever that particular schematic may be, as soon as I just feel this symbol starting, it's going to continue to work, okay? And my atoms are listening to that. My own singularity is listening to that and say, okay, he's pressed the button. And what that means is that he wants this to continue to work until he presses the button again. And that means it stops, okay? That's how it works. This is a technology. So you want to give that imprint in regards to how this continues to cycle. Now you may want to say, for example, that this imprint may represent this. Okay? Kind of like a big C with a small c in it, okay? That's basically my own interpretation about how this continues to recycle its effect over and over again. Singularity coming into root, being able to purge that energy, being able to rejuvenate that energy, putting it back into singularity, and then just continuing to do that. If there's any debris that comes into the root chakra, we're doing this automatically. We're taking out that debris, we're purging it from our body, we're rejuvenating it, putting it back into singularity. So every single time that you get any kind of debris in the root chakra, this machine is working, right? Now you may also want to give an indication that, again, you're able to turn this off as well too, right? So again, that's all part of the process. This is just telling this device to repeat its pattern, okay? Now you may also want to create another box that goes down here and saying that there's some other symbol that you can put on there that says that this is how I can turn it off as well too, right? So then you're seeing that symbol. So one particular good symbol for that would be like a power switch, right? Like a little power button, right? Kind of like the power button you would see on your computer, right? Just drawing that symbol. And this is telling that this will continue to repeat until I turn it off, okay? So while you're creating this symbol, you may see within your mind that I'm going to press this button again, that when I first pressed it, it was illuminated. It was coming on like a light. When I press it again, it's off. And now I can turn it off. So this is really no more different than how we would create a schematic pertaining to technology, about how we use it. It's very, very similar. What we're doing is we're keeping this in the astral realm. Because the astral realm are just grids. We're putting all these grids together. We're creating this device. And so we're putting these little trinkets and gizmos and components in there just to see what is convenient for us, okay? You may not even want to add this at all, okay? You're just happy for it to run one cycle, and you come back into this symbol again, you run it again, you come back to this symbol again, you run it again, okay? That's all you're doing. This is the anchor to activating your thought form astral technology, okay? That's how it works. Okay, so now we're just going to spend a little bit of time just meditating on this idea, okay? So we've already looked at the board. We're all going to see how that works. And I'm just going to guide you through a meditation right now so that you can create your own chakra clearer device. So let's go ahead now and just begin to close our eyes, just getting ourselves into a nice, relaxed, comfortable mood. Just letting ourselves neutralize our minds. And again, just taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. What I want you to do right now is I want you to visualize or feel that singularity that we were talking about earlier. I want you to feel as if one counterclockwise circle, one counterclockwise spiral, rather, has three particular circles that are just being drawn out counterclockwise, okay? So I just want you to see that in your mind first, just seeing this counterclockwise spiral with 3 loops being drawn out. Once you have 3 loops, stop. And at the very direct center of that spiral, you're creating another spiral with 3 circular loops that are moving in a clockwise direction. Okay? So we're just seeing that energy now. So now that you see or feel that energy within your mind, I want you to take that particular form of symbol and imprint it with your own atoms, with your own singularity. Okay? So if you want to take that singularity, just as if you were to hold it right in your hand, and just placing it in your heart. And you just are telling that symbol, this is what you represent. This device is being powered by the singularity within my own atoms, and it will only work for me. The singularity is the input and the output of the power source necessary to power this device. Okay? So just put your instructions into what that symbol represents. Okay? Once you're done, you can just imagine you're taking that symbol out of you and you're putting it back to where you originally saw it. Okay? You're imprinting that. Now we're going to move to the next stage. We're going to imagine that that singularity that we just created has a single vertical line that is moving downwards. Okay, like a tether. And now we're just seeing a circle coming together. And this is representing the chakra of our choosing. You will be able to choose your chakra now. So inside that circle, I want you to imprint a thought form that connects a specific chakra of your desire into that particular circle. Go ahead and do this now. Okay, once you have that imprint of the chakra center of your choosing in there, you have completed that portion. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a triangle. So at the very top of this triangle is the chakra of your choosing. We're going to extend a bottom left diagonal line that represents the left side of the triangle. And at the left edge of that triangle, we're going to put another circle in there. Okay? This is our circle that represents the purging of any particular debris within that chakra center. Okay? So again, that can best be envisioned by the counterclockwise spiral. But if you feel that you want to put another imprint in there that you feel represents a good flow of being able to purge that dense energy, that debris energy out, you can feel free to place that in there now. Okay? So just feel that energy going inside that circle right now. Just feel it, just visualize it, whatever you feel is appropriate. So put your little symbol in that circle on the bottom left-hand edge of that triangle. And once you have that, you're now going to imagine another line that is, again, the base of this triangle, and it's moving over to the right side edge of the triangle. And in this right side of the edge of the triangle is another circle. Now this represents the rejuvenation cycle. This is helping to rejuvenate all of that energy that we were able to extract, and being able to put all of that particular light, put that rejuvenation energy, rejuvenating that energy together, okay? So I want you to create a symbol that represents that. If you want to use, again, the clockwise spiral, you can certainly do that as well too. But what we're doing is we're rejuvenating this energy. It's just as if we're holding this energy in our hands that was being spewed out, that was debris. And now we're putting all of that light back into this energy, and it's cleaning it, it's clearing it up, it's removing any kind of tarnish portions of it. It's just helping to completely polish it up. Okay? So once you have that symbol, you're now going to do one of two things, because again, this was the optional aspect. What you can do is you can create another circle with a branch that is connected to the right side of the triangle, and you're just creating a diagonal line downwards. so that this circle meets the center point of the triangle just below it, okay? So as I stated in the diagram, this was just my own particular method to do that. There is also another particular method that if you want to just put this energy back into your root chakra, once it has been cleansed, you can do that as well too. So basically what we're doing is that we are reinserting the chakra energy rather than putting it into our singularity, which is my method, okay? But if you feel that you were able to successfully clear this energy, purify, remove all that energy, purge that out, being able to, again, rejuvenate all of that energy, bring it back into purity, now you're giving the command for that energy to return back into the chakra of your choosing, okay? So it's like it's enveloping it. It's like a vacuum, just bring it back into yourself. So for example, if we want to do that, then the symbol I would use would be like a cone, okay? So being able to see this kind of cone, it represents enveloping. So like an inverted triangle. It's just being able to tell my symbol that this is just returning back into the chakra appropriately, because now the energy has been cleaned. I've decided not to put it in my singularity because, again, that's a choice. I'm going to just put it back in the chakra center, okay? Very good. And when we do that, we do not need to link that to the singularity because that is not going to be going into the singularity. So all we're doing is we've created that little triangle, that little inverted triangle that represents it coming back into our body. And now it comes back into full circle arrangement, right? So that is basically the entire process. That is how our schematic is done. So it's telling us through singularity, I will connect with this chakra center. I will start to purge that energy out. I will start to rejuvenate that energy. I will heal that energy, and I will put it back into my chakra center. Congratulations. You have created your first astral created technology, okay? That's all we're doing. Now, the second part I want you to do is, with your eyes still closed, is I want you to create an anchor. We want to create an anchor that represents like this little button, just as if we were to see a box, and on this box we see this single button, and this single button represents your tether, okay? What I would recommend everybody to do is, once you have your symbol for this, for your particular technology, create it into physical reality. Very, very important, okay? Do not just have it in your mind. You want something creatable. You want something tangible, okay? Because this is your link. This is your tether to allowing this technology to work, okay? So if you feel that you want to take a simple white piece of paper and drawing out this particular tethered symbol, whatever it may be, you create it. You do not have to receive it intuitively. You can create it, okay? Then that is basically your anchor to utilizing this technology. Because what you are doing now is you're telling this entire schematic, I am activating you through the intention of this symbol, okay? That is your on button, okay? So when you're focusing on that energy, and for example, you may just be sitting down for 10 to 15 minutes just meditating on this symbol, okay? You may just want to have an open eye focus, just concentrating on this symbol so it becomes completely natural to you. You can do that as well too. You may want to take that symbol and place it under your pillow at night and go to sleep with it. Now your body is going to start rejuvenating that particular chakra center while you sleep. Okay, you can do that as well too. It is the intention of bringing this particular symbol into your awareness. That is the button. Okay, so you want to have something tangible. You want to have something physical that you can concentrate on, so that you can allow that particular symbol to be here physically with you. And all you do is summon that symbol, and that is what's going to activate this technology. Okay. And that's it. So again, let's take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. And when you're ready, you can come back into the present moment. So just making sure that everybody is able to create that symbol. That is very, very important. It's one of the most important parts of this. This is importance number one. This is importance number two. Okay. Got to make sure that that is linked together. Okay. So it's like you're seeing in this schematic, you're seeing these brackets here. And that's representing the connection to this entire circuit, okay? You could also just do something like this, just being able at the very bottom, just linking it to here, and you can call this interface, or you can call this button, or you can call this the activation symbol, okay? That's just telling your own subconscious that when they think of this, this is going to activate because you have programmed all of the components in there. Okay? That's astral technology. That's how it works. Now, you can certainly advance this as deeply as you wish. You wanted to have all 7 chakras on here, right? You're basically just doing the same thing. You would put 1 chakra, 2 chakra, 3 chakra, 4 chakra, 5 chakra, 6 chakra, 7 chakra, okay? All right here. They are all linked to singularity, okay? Okay, now they're all being able to work together with these components here, being able to cycle, okay? So this would basically be step number 1. Step number 2 is to call in all of these chakra centers and imprint them all, okay? Step number 3 is being able to link them together so that they function in this triad, okay? So it's a little bit of a crude model right here. Basically what you're doing is you're just putting all of these tethers together so that they mate with a center point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At that center point, you're again just recreating that triangle again with a circle here, with a circle there, okay? Because you want everything to link together. You want everything to connect. That's, again, basic electronics, right? You're creating a circuit, okay? You're creating a circuit, everything goes together. That's how it works. Light circuitry, a little bit different. But this particular way, pertaining to astral technology, that's how it works. Everything needs to link together. Everything needs to connect together, okay? So just as if you were to see a circuit schematic for a certain device, very similar in that particular way. So if you already have that natural electronics mind, great. You should be able to do this no problem, okay? But we just want to make sure that everything connects. There's no loose ends coming into this schematic, okay? That's how it's done. That's how you're able to create a 7 chakra clearing machine, okay? Utilizing the astral realm, and again, it's imprinted, it's linked together with the symbol that you create, your button, okay? Just as if you were building a box, and all of a sudden this box is now able to activate once you press the on button, okay? This symbol is your on button, so I want to really, really clarify that with everybody. Okay, so astral technology benefits. Well, what are the benefits? Well, as we just saw, we were able to develop this particular type of technology that would help to clear out our chakra centers. So again, that's just the beginning. There are so many different things that you can do with astral technology. You can use it in regards to subconscious security, okay? Now, this is something that is actually featured on a certain feature film called Inception, okay? That is an actual technology that people can do. Now, it is usually done through hypnosis, but basically what you're doing is you're defending your own mind for intrusions. This will actually prevent any other particular forms of psychic intrusions to happen. We're going to be looking into that in next month's pay-per-view webinar, which is, again, subconscious mechanics. But you can also use these very advanced astral technologies without hypnosis to actually defend your subconscious, to actually defend your own conscious self if you feel that you are being bombarded by psychic attack, right? That's one example. I don't know how many people in this conversation I'm talking to have been bombarded by psychic attack, but that's one thing that you can do. You can use astral technology to improve memory, okay? All you have to do is you just need to imprint the components, right, to being able to improve your memory, right? So what does memory mean to you? You need to imprint that. You need to give that particular essence of what meaning memory is to you, and being able to put that in components, okay? Everything we're always doing is being powered by singularity, okay? Singularity is our power source. It is our connection to the astral realm. It is our connection to the unified field that is bringing in this power source so that the astral tech can work with it, okay? That's how it operates. So you can use it for healing. You can use it for memory increase. You can use it to increase your IQ. You can use it to improve your clairvoyance. You can use it to improve your clairaudience. Your extrasensory perceptions can be improved. You can utilize it in a sense to help connect with guides a little bit more as well too, kind of like creating like a type of speaker box, right? You can do that as well. The possibilities are endless. I mean, this is astral tech, and it's awesome, right? Now, before I go too far on that, there may be people saying, well, as good as this can this be used for harm? Yes, most definitely it can be used for harm. It is, again, understand that everything that really is good for humanity also has a dark side, okay? Astral tech can certainly be used for harm, and there can be some very, very nasty programs that are being brought out there, okay? So again, you want to make sure that everything that you're creating is for your own good. I would just say, my own recommendation is please just use astral tech for yourself, okay? Do not feel that you're building this particular form of contraption for another person who may not be, again, in those particular energies. Now, it is possible, I want to just put a big however on there, it is possible if you want to have this shared with other people, they should be building it alongside with you, okay? They should be working together with you on your behalf because they need to imprint it with their own symbols as well too, okay? So it's very, very important that this is being, if it is a collaborative effort, if it's something that you're doing in a group, everybody in that group needs to create their own symbol so that they can connect to this particular technology. They need to be aware about what you're creating, okay? So you need to go through this entire schematic and saying, hey, to my entire family, this is a device that I've built in the astral realms that is going to help clear your chakra centers. Oh, okay, great. Can it work for me too? Yeah, it certainly can. All I need for you to do is I'm going to take you through this entire process of how it works, and then you can send me a signal, a symbol that will utilize it for activation, okay? And you can do that. So if you want to do it in a shared way, making sure that you've explained the entire schematic to somebody, get them to share a symbol with you, and you can certainly do it in that way, okay? I would never recommend that you're just building this device and just getting it to work on another person's energy without their permission, okay? To me, that is a big no-no, okay? We don't want to do that. We do not want to intrude upon other people's free will or their own energy body without permission. So again, there needs to be a tactfulness to this. You have to be very mindful about how you're going to utilize this device, okay? It's no more different than radionics, right? Radionics can be really, really great, really powerful, really positive, or it can be used for other means as well too, right? So you want to be very responsible with this because yes, things like this can harm other people. You can actually use these to create thought form implants that may be very, very nasty. You can actually use these as curse devices, okay? This is basically how some forms of government, because governments are well aware of this kind of technology. They're well aware of astral technology and they use that in different astral grids. They connect it together like wires, like cables that are connecting the entire Earth grid, because we have the physical Earth grid with all the physical connections. We have an astral grid with all of these particular types of connections as well too. And there have been a lot of different forms of forces that have attempted to take a lot of these astral networks down. Governments are very aware of this, okay? So again, it's very important to be very tactful with what you are using. Again, this is my own advice here. You're up to using it any way you wish, but please, I would say, use it for something that serves yourself first, okay? If you want to introduce it to other people, make sure you tell them exactly how it works, okay? And what they need to do. That's it, okay? But absolutely, a lot of benefits. I mean, the sky's the limit relating to what you can do. It's not to say, oh, can I use this to win the lottery? Well, that's a free will thing, right? So if you want to say, oh, I want to use this to help me win the lottery and stuff like that, you can certainly design something in that sense, but because the lottery works a lot with free will arrangement, you know, nothing can be guaranteed in that way. There's no shortcut to the idea of winning a lottery in that particular way, right? So again, my recommendation would be to utilize this in regards to your own health benefits. It's something that will really help to improve you. Because as you become improved, you create abundance everywhere you go. Socially, financially, everything, right? Educationally, all of that can come together. Just start to improve yourself. That would be my recommendation when utilizing this astral technology, okay? So understanding singularity and working with singularity. I'm going to cover this a little bit because Adronis is going to be talking about this a little bit more. So again, as we've talked about, we utilize singularity to power this. Why do we use singularity? What's so important about singularity? Singularity connects the multiverse together. It's everything that represents creation. It is the wormholes, it is the connectors, it is the vortexes, it is the conduits that brings everything together, and its energy is insurmountable. You know, we can't even calculate it, it's so powerful. So basically, we're working together with singularity because singularity is not just, shall we say, a hole in space, right? It represents knowledge. What you're basically getting out of a singularity, let's say, for example, a black hole, okay? Now, Adronis does not refer to them as black holes. He refers to them as a black hole, white hole, okay? They are both simultaneously. They are not just a black hole, you know, in space in that way. Basically, they are inputs and outputs, just like what we have here. This is why singularity is best to be used as this. They are actually bringing in new updates, you could say, into a universe. That's what a black hole does. A singularity is actually bringing matter. It is bringing information into the universe. And it is actually being utilized, this particular form of this information, to actually seed other worlds with new experiments. That's what these black holes, white holes, do. is they are information gatherers. They're actually able to take information out of our universe and put it into another one that shares a mutual experience, and they're able to bring energy into our universe. That again helps us to create new experiments, to give new ideas, new understandings, new life that can come into it. And so it is an exchanger. It's like again, a buffer in that way, right? So we have an input, we have an output, and all of that information is coming through. You can basically access all the knowledge of the universe through a singularity. That's how powerful it is, right? You can get all of that information, but because we are on free will, you know, we have what's known as a law of manyness. And basically a law of manyness in that sense is helping you to understand that intuition is only able to take you so far with things. This is why, again, Adronis, this is again a big discussion, but I'm going to try and simplify it. I'm just going to find the words for this for a moment, because this is important, especially when we're talking about singularity, okay? Intuition is a great tool, okay? We are able to discover a lot when we access our own intuition. Now, basically, if someone asks me and says, Brad, can I access absolutely anything I want through intuition? My answer would be both yes and no, okay? The reason being is because we exist within what's known as a law of manyness. As a law of manyness, we cannot understand infinity. This is why if people try to imagine infinity in regards to just constantly going and feeling exactly how infinity works, we can't do it. You know, we always have to put some type of figure. We do that because of the law of manyness, okay? Now, manyness is just helping us to understand that something is growing, something is emerging. We haven't understood infinity yet, but we understand that it's continuing to grow and continuing to expand, right? Now, law of manyness works together with experience. So experience is going to help the law of manyness to grow, to share more information, okay? This is basically what I'm saying, that when people ask me, Adronis or Brad, what's happening in the Andromeda galaxy right now, right? I could tune into that and I can give you a little bit of information. Oh, is that it? Is there anything more? No. Because it's very similar to like looking at a trailer of a movie, okay? If you haven't seen the entire movie, you're not going to get the concept of it. So what do you need to do? You need to go to the movie theater, you need to sit down, you need to watch the entire movie to understand the concept of that particular reality, of what that is saying to you. When you're using intuition, you're only looking at the trailer, okay? That would be the best way to get an understanding about how intuition works. Now, if you are already very rich in experience as it pertains to a certain theme that you want to explore, you are allowing intuition to, again, go deeper into that because experience has granted you access, okay? Experience is a permission slip. You need experience to go deeper into something, okay? It's not just about sitting on your couch and meditating and say, yeah, tell me all about Kung Fu, right? Because I don't know how to do Kung Fu, but I would love to learn it. It's not going to tell you, right? It will give you a trailer. It'll give you a trailer of Kung Fu. It'll tell you a little bit about it. It will give you some certain forms of concepts and some interesting points. But if you really want to know more about Kung Fu, or you really want to know more about yoga, go out and do it, okay? That is the law of manyness. So this is, again, a new law that I have discovered. The law of manyness is helping you to understand that experience is the permission slip necessary for you to access more knowledge, okay? So when you're looking at the idea of accessing singularity, sure, give you a lot of great information, absolutely, in pretty much anything you wish. But again, it's coming through the intuitive trailer, right? You're watching a video trailer, you're watching a movie trailer about these things. That was interesting. I want to look at it more. Well, you have to go through more experience, right? Maybe there's some things you need to do in your life pertaining to experience so that you can access more information. The whole idea is that you want a complementary aspect of experience to help further your capability of allowing intuition to speak to you. This is, again, why Adronis will say that there are certain star systems that do not want to associate with humanity at this time. And so our information about them, what we receive intuitively as conduits, is very, very limited, right? Because they have jurisdictions. They have basically certain forms of information that can be shared, and again, other particular forms of information that cannot be shared unless experience grants it, okay? That is the binding principle to free will, okay? Free will is choice, okay? So basically, we are working together in what's known as a law of confusion, okay? When we are confused, we are operating within free will. Why do we have to be confused? We have to be confused because the only way you can actually make choice is by confusion, right? That's how free will works. So free will links together with the law of manyness. And the law of manyness is this buffer, it is this boundary, right? It creates this particular type of field because experience will grant you more access, okay? That's like a mantra I like to tell everybody. Experience will grant you more access to a theme, okay? It's not just about sitting and going into intuitive states and getting this information. You'll get some really great information of that, absolutely, but you're not gonna really understand it. It's kind of like looking at a home where if you were like a ghost that is coming through, we're looking at what this home looks like, but we can't access anything. We can't interact with anything because we're just this floating ball of plasma, right? And we can't touch anything. We can't touch the couch. We don't know what it's like to feel to sit on a couch. We don't know what it's like to feel to sit on a chair. We don't know what it feels like to access the internet because we can't touch anything, right? That's what intuition is basically telling you. Here, I'll show you this room, but you can't touch anything inside. Why not? Because you're not experiencing it. Experience will allow you to see more of it. So now you could create an essay 1 billion words long about how it was to sit in that chair, about how it was to sit on that couch. Now you have experience. You've accessed the catalog. You've been an experiencer of that, right? That's giving you the idea about how free will connects with the law of manyness and how intuition is giving you film trailers, okay? That would be the best form of analogy that I could give. Now, every single psychic is like this. Don't care who you go to, right? They will only give you the idea of intuitive trailers. Sometimes we have some big trailers that some people are talking about. Yeah, this is what the movie's about. This is, oh my God, that's really cool. That was awesome. Can you give me the full glimpse? No, you would have to experience that, right? It's like the secret space program. A lot of information on that, but we can only understand so much because we haven't been there, right? When we're actually there, you have stories upon stories you can tell. So experience is the giver of vast information, right? So singularity is, again, this experience database. It is all about the Akashic records connecting to singularity. It has pure Akasha within it. And that is like the central hub. That is the hub to where all information is coming and going. You're able to link into other singularity and get an understanding, get some trailers about what other universes are like, right? You can do that as well too. You can create a technology that can actually link yourself to singularity and actually being able to connect and get, again, trailers from other realities that can do that, because what you're doing is you're interfacing with the singularity. You're seeing that singularity as a part of yourself. You're seeing it as alive. You're seeing it something that can interact together with you, right? You can access the singularity within your atoms, just like we did for this particular type of schematic, okay? You can do that, absolutely. The whole idea in that sense is you want to develop a relationship, right? Some people will actually paint a singularity on a canvas, and that will be a very correct way about how to access a singularity, because there are natural portals on this planet. Now, these portals are not just connecting you to different aspects of space-time and time-space, but they're actually able to link up. The threads that they represent are able to link up into other universes, and you can actually interact with other universes just by painting out a singularity, just by being able to create a portal, right? Again, start with your atoms. Start with what you feel a singularity represents. Start with the sun. The sun itself is a singularity, right? It basically represents a stargate. It's bringing ships through. It's incredible about what the sun is capable of. You know, it's a natural transit hub, and it's bringing out all of these spacecraft through, very commonly, coronal mass ejections. Okay, so basically, certain suns. I don't want to go off the topic too much, but basically, suns themselves have different folds of time periods in that way, and that understanding that if we basically have cycles coming through the sun, and there's basically fold events. These are basically the right times to where transit can happen through the sun. So you could actually connect to one sun in a distant galaxy, and it'll exit out through this sun during a certain period. Now, basically, suns themselves have retrograde times. So basically, during the retrograde times, you could not really use the sun as a transit hub. You have to wait until it goes off retrograde. You want to wait until it becomes active, right? This is why we have certain forms of solar cycles per year in that way. So you wait for an active solar cycle for one sun, bringing in a craft, going into the center of that hub, and being able to create vibrational coordinates, just like a vibration device like this, poof, and pop out through our end. You could have been a million light years away. And like that, you're here, right? That's cool. Technology like this can do that, okay? Technology like this can actually bring you from one sun to another sun, okay? Very advanced stuff, very, very advanced, but again, very possible. This is, again, compared to many civilizations, oh, look, Bread showing them child play stuff, right? You know, that's basically how they look. It's like, this is like building blocks in kindergarten. This is like putting your ABCs together in that way, right? That would be their perspective, because astral technology is so incredibly advanced, you know, just so much stuff that you can do about it. I can't even begin to explain to you guys how awesome it is, right? So again, singularity technology and healing, okay? So I'm gonna get to this, and then we're gonna go into, I'm gonna check questions, and then we're gonna go into Adronis, okay? So singularity technology and healing. So basically, what can we do with singularity that will allow us to heal, right? Well, again, just like in this example, we are linking up to singularity. So it's like we are withdrawing the entire schematic, and we're just connecting with singularity. So you can work with singularity, again, just by painting it on a picture, drawing something that you feel represents singularity, and now you can actually place it on areas of the body, because what you have done is you have encoded specific instructions for the singularity to function as an input and output device to actually put energy into your body or extract energy from your body as well too, right? This is really coming back into the simple aspect, right? You can certainly use the astral technology here because it's very specific, but if you want something simple, create a singularity, right? Create a singularity symbol, create a singularity artwork, and just connect with it, right? Just imagine as if you're putting a tether, an energy cord, out through your third eye, and you're just connecting with that singularity that you have created. Now feed it instructions. What do you want the singularity to do? I like it to help heal my body. I want to help remove cancer. I want to help correct neck aches or migraines that I have, diabetes, whatever it may be. You spend enough time with that singularity, it's going to give you not only good healing, but it's also going to give you instructions about what you can do to actually heal an ailment in your body. So singularity is basically, they're like the librarians of the library. Okay? They know everything, right? So if you want to connect with a singularity consciousness, you're channeling it, right? You're putting out that cord, you're connecting to singularity, and you're saying, yes, I have this particular illness, and I want to get better, and I need help, and I require help, right? Now you connect with that singularity, you have that particular symbol in front of you, and you're connecting with it. And now it's going to start giving you instructions, because you have created the reality that this is just as real as you are. That's the whole idea. This is what creates kinks in our chain, is when people feel that they're having a hard time channeling, when they're having a hard time accessing their psychic ability, they're not convinced that they can do this. And that's basically a subconscious imprint. You're still telling yourself, I'm just looking at a friggin' drawing on a page. How is that going to make me better, right? You have given yourself no permission slip to make this as real as you are. And that's the problem, right? You need to ensure that when you are working with astral technology, when you're working with singularity, you need to make it as real as you are. You do not just see it as a piece of paper on your table. You do not see it as a piece of paper that you're just looking across the room at. This needs to be alive. You need to bring it to life. That's the most important part. Same thing with being a psychic. Same thing with channeling. You need to bring those components to life. You need to make a 180-degree turn here and saying that this is real. I believe in this, and now I'm going beyond belief, and I'm making this certain. This is certain that I know this exists. This is certain that I'm dialoguing with a singularity and that it can assist me. When I do that, I am in the vibrational alignment to receive all of the essential information from that particular singularity. When I do that, the singularity can now assist me in the healing process, because singularity, again, are purifiers, like reservoirs, to where infinite energy, infinite intelligence is able to stream in and out between one universe and another. That's how universes communicate with each other, is through singularity. That's what we are. We are singularity. Okay? Everything that represents our essence, our soul, our spirit is this. Okay? It is singularity. We come from our own universe. We are a universe within ourselves. Right? So we're just coming in from one universe, and we're going through this experiment. What you need to do is you need to make this real. This is going to be as real as this is right here, right? That's how it works. You want to make sure that this is something that is alive, something that you can work with, something that you can connect to. Very, Very, very important. You just see this as something that's BS, you're never going to be able to communicate with it. Not a chance. This has got to be real. This has got to be alive. This is who you are. This is what you have decided to connect with and work with in that particular way. It needs to be real. You need to make it real. You need to make it alive. You need to make it conscious. You need to tell yourself, this is what I'm really doing. I'm really looking at the singularity. I'm really creating this symbol, and that's going to connect me to singularity, and that's going to help me. Great. Keep at it. Keep at it. Keep at it. And continue to work, 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 work. As you do, you're now making this more and more tangible. You're making this a part of your reality. You're crossing wavelengths. You're crossing worlds, right? You have the world of the singularity. You have the world of yourself interconnected. Build a bridge. Make imagination real. Do not think it is a fantasy device. Anytime you think imagination is a fantasy device, it will not serve you in regards to helping you connect to other worlds, to other realms, to other realities. Make your imagination real. That's the key, okay? Okay, guys, great. So we're going to go ahead and check questions now. So I'm just going to walk over here to my computer and just check and see what we got. Okay, so if you guys do have any questions just in regards to what we talked about, feel free to share. I'm just going to scroll up here a bit. Let's see what we got. Okay, Tammy asks, can you imagine a physical bridge to that anchor? You absolutely can, yes. Again, it's all about your creativity, right? So basically what I do here is create like a little tether, a little cord in that particular way. If you basically in your mind want to see it as a beautiful bridge, and you're right here, and over on the other side here is your connection, absolutely. Go ahead and do that. Use your imagination again. Make it real, right? Do whatever you feel you need to do to connect that particular energy to the other side and create that bridge, create that connection. So if you want to see it as an actual physical bridge, fantastic. That's great. This again is just a schematic. This is just something that we can use on a simplistic level. But if you want to actually create a landscape, that's a whole thing within itself, right? That's a cool complex to do. Is you can actually build out an astral or a dream landscape that you're actually able to go in through meditation to actually get an understanding about what this does. Now, there are some beings that actually do this. It's not just a simple schematic. They will actually create holograms where you will actually see a world of a device, right? It's like going into a dream plane, right? You will actually be able to start seeing this singularity. So now you'll see this kind of glass wall, and you'll see a singularity right here, and it's flowing, right? If you were able to go into this particular astral realm that this person has created or that you have created. And now you'll see how these bridges are now coming up from the ground that have connected with the singularity and have now started to work with the chakra centers. So now you're seeing, for example, the colors, this beautiful plasmic energy that represents the energy of all the chakra centers, right? And the bridges connect them all, right? Now you can start seeing that they all connect to a certain point. Again, there are bridges that converge into one particular point. And now we're able to create this triangle. We're up to, now we see the symbol of it being purged out of the body. We now see the symbol of it being cleared, all right? Cleared out of the body. And again, if there's more stuff there, you can do that. But yeah, you can actually create landscapes of technology, a technological landscape on an astral level. That's how powerful the astral realm is. The more imaginative you are, the more brilliant this is going to work. Do not feel that this is what Brad did, so I got to do it exactly this way. No, you don't, right? The most important thing is that you're creating a circuit, okay? So the circuit itself is the connector here. You want to ensure that you have your symbol, that again is your physical, solid, symbolic device that you are using, that you're able to concentrate on, that you're imagining you're pressing it as a button, and now this becomes activated, okay? You do not at all have to use it the way that I've used it here. This is just me providing example from what I can relate to, okay? So very good question, Tammy, thank you. Okay. Let's go to the next question here. Okay. I'm just reading some questions here. There's Kaylee. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name right. Wrote, oh my God, so this is just like drawing up schematics in the electronics class before plugging the appropriate components into the breadboard and such. And I'll be able to see the VOD later of what I missed while I was out. Okay, good. Yeah, very much. This is just like electronics class, and you're developing these schematics for the astral realm. This is astral technology. That's the great benefit with astral technologies. You don't need to worry about nuts and bolts, right? The only thing that's physical is your symbol, is your connector to allowing this astral creation to come together, okay? Eventually, who knows, if more and more people start to do this a lot more, we may actually have astral technology that is actually powering our cities, right? Now, that would require a little bit more of a mediation in between that, but this is basically how they say you're accessing the 0-point field, right? You're connecting to a portion of the astral realm while you're bringing in all this energy. So basically, when you're looking at it in that way, that is a vacuum energy or part of the astral energy in that way as well too. But basically, as our planet moves into fourth density a lot more, again, this big shift that's coming at the end of the year, we're starting to move more into fourth density, and this will become a lot more commonplace. It'll be quite a while before it happens. So I don't know, maybe I'm being a pioneer, maybe there's a few others that are doing what I'm doing, that are being pioneers to this, but actually being able to work with astral technology through holograms and through the quantum field or quantum biofeedback to actually being able to bring a lot of the power source of singularity through the astral realm into our physical realm. That is very possible. We can do that, right? So just something like this, a simple schematic, can bring about wonders for our civilization. Okay, so I'm just going to go down here. Okay, Tammy asks, for those of us who have difficulty recalling symbols, would it work to imagine the technology turns on automatically when I'm in it and off as soon as I'm out of it? That can still work, right? Absolutely. Yep, you got it. You got it, absolutely. Being able to just walk inside this technology is great. So like I said, if you're in this dream state, and if this dream state represents your dream pertaining to this device, walk right into it. Hey, I'm on. Hey, singularity, I'm here. Poof, right? I'm here. That can be your symbol as well too. So maybe you just want to have a symbol that will help you to go into that dreamscape because you're consciously creating this. You do not need to go into the dream state and be somewhat subconsciously aware about what you're creating. You're creating an entire landscape here. I would say even use something like Google SketchUp. Use something that is actually like a 3D program where you can actually create this blueprint, and now you can close your eyes and you can imagine you're walking through this astral realm that represents technology. Isn't that great, right? I mean, even our own Earth herself is a very advanced organic technology. Everything upon her, this beauty, this beautifulness that we see of her is a technology because she's all self-sustaining, right? Our bodies are a technology. It is self-sustaining, right? This itself, you can create, can be self-sustaining because you're creating it out of the astral realm. It doesn't require oxygen. It doesn't require water. It doesn't require any of that stuff that we require physically, right? All this is just being purely created by yourself. It's pure creation. Again, if you guys watch the movie Inception, you'll have an idea of this, about how all this works. Very, very, very cool. Very awesome. Okay, I'm just going to scroll down a bit more. Elaine asks, is it possible to use this for the body as a whole rather than piece by piece? Yes, absolutely. But you want to make sure that you are giving that particular intention through the technology itself. So if you want to feel that you have a symbol right here, and you create a symbol and saying that this is a full body rejuvenation, okay? Now, full body rejuvenations can be a little bit complicated because your body works together in different components, right? Now, I usually recommend that we just work in components because even though you can do a full body rejuvenation in that way, it's still very, very limited to what that means. You have to understand, you have to explain it. What does full body rejuvenation mean? Does that mean cleansing your entire aura? Does that mean just running energy through head to toe and clearing out everything from head to toe? You need to be specific when you're doing full body rejuvenation. You're not just saying, oh yeah, give me a full body rejuvenation. It won't get it. It'll basically come up to you with a question mark and saying, huh? What do you mean? What do you mean full body rejuvenation? What's full body healing? Explain that to me, right? So you want to put that together in that effect. Again, this will only work as well as the information that you put into the components, okay? It's not just about saying, oh, okay, just do this. It needs more data. It's kind of like a computer program, right? You have to put this information in it so that it can run properly, okay? It's not just about saying, yeah, just do a full body healing on me and that's it. No, lack of data, lack of data, lack of data, okay? You need to be very specific about what a full body rejuvenation means, okay? So if that's clearing out your whole aura, if that's just removing, if sweeping the body and removing any particular type of emotional toxicity that's there from head to toe, and then being able to tell it what to do with that energy, absolutely, you can do that, right? But you want to be specific. Astral technology is not just going to do everything for you because you say a simple label. It wants data. It wants information. Okay. So again, this is why something like this can work really well, because many of us understand the chakra centers. We understand exactly how they work, how they operate. We understand much of their color spectrums, so we can associate that pretty decently, right? And they're very simple symbols to create. But if you say that you got a neck pain or that there's a problem with your spine, you know, you want to be able to envision that. You want to say, here's my spine in pain, right? You may want to see like your spine in a three-dimensional hologram, and you're seeing like little red points around it, right? And you're telling this is the indicating of the areas to where my spine is pretty messed up. So I want to be able to use this device to clear out my spine, okay? That's a full healing within itself. That's fully helping to clear out your spine, okay? Your skeletal structure, whatever it may be, your bones, your organs, your lungs, your heart, your brain, all of that, right? You want to be specific. You don't just say, go for it, do it. Because again, lack of data, question mark, or bad command or file name. That's what I remember back in the 80s and the 90s that I was using computers. You just start typing in a nonsense code that says bad command or file name, right? That's kind of like the Astral, where I'm saying back and saying bad command or file name, got to be more specific, right? So if you do want a full body rejuvenation, you can absolutely do that, but just be specific that you are providing information about what that means to the technology. Okay? Very good, Elaine. Thank you for the question. Okay, just going to scroll down here a bit more. Okay, here's one here from Vance. Vance asks, I often see my heart as the great central sun, my source energy generator and symbol of singularity. Would you say this is okay, or would it be greater, or would it be better to create another symbol for singularity? Well, it's not about me saying what's better for you, right? Now, if you basically see that your great central sun is a singularity, please use it, you know? Again, please do not take everything I say here as the gospel, that you absolutely have to do it this way, otherwise it won't work. No, that's not what's being said here at all. Again, all I can do, guys, is just give an example in a very simplistic way about how this works as a schematic, right? You have the power to make this in any way you want. All I would say is just please make sure that everything is connected, okay? So your great central sun that exists within you, if you see that as your singularity, go for it, absolutely. What's a sun? A sun is a singularity, right? So you want to make sure that you're utilizing that. You want to do something that really resonates with you. You can just look at your own sun, our own sun out in the sky, and we say, perfect singularity. We'll go ahead and do that, great. So if you're by chance doing it that way, you want to, again, make sure that you're imprinting this with your own energy. You want to tell that sun, you tell your sun outside, this is part of me. It's like I'm taking my own sun out and I'm putting it, poof, right here, because that is a signature, okay? This is what's known as a holographic imprint. We want to use a holographic imprint as it represents the connector, okay? Like radionics, you have to have a hologram. You need a hologram in order for radionics to work, in order for it to tune itself into an appropriate frequency so that it can do its work with you as the operator. Well, as you're the operator of this, you need to give some type of imprint. So if you're seeing the sun in the sky, okay, take out your own inner sun. Take out your own inner sun, just like you see the sun there, poof, put it right here, right? And create that schematic, okay? You want to create the schematic first. That's important. You have to know the ins and outs of the system. You need to know how it works, okay? Again, start off with something simple. You want to dialogue with the singularity, first thing, go for it. Make it real. That's the important part, right? And then continue to develop and develop as your heart's desire. This is only one version, one example about how this can work altogether. So yes, use your central sun if you feel it works for you. Okay. Here's another one from Cotelio, I believe the name. I had an idea for a schematic that would take my root, purify, feed it into my sacral, purify, loop that back around into my solar, into my heart, and so on until I pop out through the crown chakra to astral travel. That would work out just as well, yes? Absolutely, 100% yes. Because again, this is your machine. Remember what the rule is. Just connect. Make sure it connects. Make sure it works like a circuit, right? Everything is connected that way. You can do absolutely anything you want with this. As long as everything is interconnected and working like a circuit, absolutely, 100% yes, that will work. Okay, moving on. Okay, here's one from Alexandra. She asks, so can we imagine any symbol, or is the spiral circle the one you suggest is best? Okay, you have two questions here, so I'll answer that first one. Any symbol you want, yes. I use the spiral circle because that's my interpretation of the flow of energy, right? Because again, When we're bringing in energy, when we're cultivating energy, we're bringing it into our being, fresh energy, we use that in a clockwise direction. Okay, so clockwise is the direction of ethereal energy coming into the physical, kind of like a cone in that way, right? And then again, if we're moving it into a counterclockwise direction, that's representing expulsion, that's representing purging, right? So we're bringing the counterclockwise spiral and feeling like that's an outward cone, and that's bringing it back into the ethers, right? So that is giving the idea. But any way that you feel represents the input and the output, the inflow, the outflow of the energy itself is up to you. If you want to feel that it's a triangle, right, or an inverted triangle, you can do it that way. If you want to think it's a cute little bunny face, do it that way too, right? Again, there's no limits to this symbol. It's like, again, it's not about saying, oh, Brad did it like this, so I got to do it exactly like him. No, you don't. All I'm doing here is that this is my personal imprint about how I understand the flow of energy, clockwise, counterclockwise, spirals, okay? So basically, you have the option of putting absolutely anything at all, period, into these circles, as long as it develops the relationship about what you're attempting to tell this device to do, okay? So you're telling it right now to purge this energy. What does that symbol say to you? What is it? What comes in your mind? Put that symbol in here, okay? You're telling the device to purify this energy. What does that symbol mean to you? See it right now and put it in there, okay? That's all you're doing. You're putting these symbols in. You don't have to always confine it to very small circles. I'm doing that because I'm on a board, okay? If you have a gigantic poster board and you want to create this, go for it. You have Google SketchUp, you want to put it in there and you want to create all these symbols and then print something out like that and imprint it with certain symbols as well too, go for it. Whatever is your fancy, right? It's all about what you feel works for you. If you want to go entirely in the astral realm and just create all this and putting symbols in there as you go, great. Just remember you have your symbol here to access that realm, okay? This is your key. This is your key to entering your kingdom of your astral technology. So again, very good question, Alexander. Thank you. You had a second one as well. She asked also, how can we use this to remove negative beliefs? You have to imprint it with the idea of the belief here that is negative and being able to place something of equal or greater value pertaining to that negative energy. So if in that sense represents problems with financial abundance, okay? So I want you to take a minute where you're thinking of what that financial abundance is doing to you, what feeling, what emotion comes up, right? You got that feeling, you got that emotion, put a symbol to it, okay? Maybe that symbol is something amusing, like a smiley, a frown face, right? Now I want you to look into that particular energy, and this is again where we have to look into forgiveness, right? We have to see that we can genuinely and authentically transition that particular energy. If we are still in conflict with this and we're not able to liberate from that, we cannot create a symbol for this, okay? This is not a shortcut. Again, we have to understand that we do our acceptance, we do our forgiveness, we do our liberation, right? You cannot avoid that, not with astral technology, not with anything, okay? So if you know that you've been going through this experience, you've given yourself time to forgive that, you've given yourself time to know that you can repair this, now you are in the genuine, and I want to highlight that, genuine, authentic vibration to move yourself into a positive frequency, okay? You feel what that's like. I feel what it's like to be financially abundant. I feel what it's like to have money in my bank account. I feel what it's like that I'm doing my own joy, my own passion, and that is bringing me financial stability. Fantastic. Now, what symbol do you want to put in that? Maybe that's this. It's a dollar sign, okay? Fantastic. Now you're telling the singularity to connect to this, and maybe there's other little components that you want to put in there as well too. You may want to tell it what it wants to do with that energy, right? All of that. But again, you have to feel uniquely and authentically the negative energy that represents that barrier. You need to feel uniquely and authentically that energy that represents the positive reinforcement, okay? And that's helping you to continue to bring about opportunities. It's like radionics, again, right? You are in that vibration of energy to know what this feels like. You've already known what this feels like. You've forgiven it, okay? Now you're able to come into here. You're bringing positive energy in that, and now this astral technology can work to help broaden that spectrum, kind of like an amplifier, right? So it can work as an amplifier. Now, astral technology cannot do this for you, okay? You have to forgive. You have to accept. You have to acknowledge, okay? A device cannot do that. You have to. So basically, when we're cycling out any particular negative debris here, in this particular example, all we're doing is we're clearing out any particular form of debris that is shaken loose, okay? Because the core of our chakra centers, when there are certain belief systems that we're still holding on to, no device can take that out. It's just going to look into areas that are loosened, right? It's going to look into debris that's kind of like an orbit, right? And it'll take out a lot of the surface stuff. But if you are clinging to belief systems so harshly into these chakra centers, doesn't matter how much you run this machine, it's not going to get it out, right? It can only get out what is loosened. When you loosen those feelings of belief systems, when you are able to harmonize and forgive those aspects, now there's a lot of debris that can be flushed out. And now the astral technology can do that really well, right? That's all part of the way here, is that you have to do this. You have to forgive this. You have to feel what this feels like, okay? You are the operator. This is not your God, okay? This is not a God above you. This is not up here, and this is not you down here, okay? This is you up here. This is this down here. It is your tool. It is your device, okay? It's very, very important to understand that. This is not your deity. This is not your God. This is not your saving grace. This is not your Messiah, right? I really want to make that clear to people, okay? You have to do inner work. As I've told you, there is no shortcut to enlightenment, okay? You have to really get into this. You need to explore exactly what you're holding on to and what you're able to release. This will function as an amplifier. This will affect as a purifier. This can assist with enhancement in certain ways, okay, based upon what you are able to encode it. But there is no easy button to enlightenment, okay, ever, never, period, right? You have to be the one that moves yourself into enlightenment. You have to find out what is causing you to be dismayed, what is causing the barriers here. You need to look at that. You need to acknowledge it. You need to forgive it. You need to liberate it. Once you do that, now you can move into positive energy, because now you know what it feels like. Remember what I said? Experience, okay? Not intuition. You're thinking that, I think I know what it feels like. No, experience it. Go into your timeline. What's one sliver of joy that you really enjoyed that was really great? Maybe it was my child being born, right? Maybe it was me going on a beautiful trip. Maybe it was just this moment where I felt like I won $1,000 in a lottery or something like that. Whatever it may be. Bring that together. Bring that into your focus. Now start to create like a gravitation. Bring all of that energy together and compound it into this big gigantic sphere and swallow that sphere down. Now you have a positive pill, right? Now you know what it's like. You're using experience to feel what it's like to counteract that energy that does not serve. So financial abundance, problems with family, whatever it may be, right? Your own confidence. All of that can be worked with in this, but you have to do the work as the operator, okay? That is unavoidable. So again, thank you very much for that point, Alexander. Okay. Okay, here's one from Daryl. Daryl asks, if a symbol or circuit already exists in thought form on the astral plane, could we not use what we find there in meditation rather than having to create our own? Seems like the billions of co-creators, everything we need is already out there in the Akashic records. Is there a reason it is better to create our own? Well, this is what I was talking about in the beginning of the event, right? We all share same thoughts pertaining to different realms of consciousness. What makes us stand out, Daryl? It stands out because we give our unique imprint. We give our unique perspective to all these things. So you're absolutely right. There are tons of machines like that in the astral realm. There are Akashic information about these types of machines in the astral realm, but they're not yours. You have to give an imprint about what this means to you, okay? It's not about the idea of saying, oh, I'll just take this because I haven't really experienced for myself what it is to design something like this. When you start designing things like this, you'll start to feel that experience will gravitate you into making it a little bit easier. But it's not about just taking a template out that somebody else has used and thinking that you can get the same effect. It doesn't work that way. You are your own universe. You're your own creator. You need to imprint everything pertaining to this technology that represents yourself, right? That's why we can't just do that. We can't just grab a template that we didn't create and say, hey, I'll just use this. That's not your signature, man. That's not you. That's like going across a table and just grabbing someone else's food and say, hey, what the hell are you doing? Hey, it's food. I'm eating. You just snatch a burger off someone's plate, right? They're not going to like that. They're going to be pretty offended, right? So the whole idea is not to say that you're going to offend anybody, but the whole idea is that that's not configured to you. It's a pill that's not configured to your energy that you can just swallow and think, oh, okay, I got this. No. You haven't done anything to imprint this into yourself, right? Same thing with thoughts, same thing with feelings. We give them our own unique signature. You have to give this your own unique signature. You need to make it very special to you. Once you feel you have designed something, now you have an idea to take components from other things, but you're still putting them together and giving it your own solid imprint, okay? That's what makes this unique. So yes, like I said here, here's a schematic that talks about the chakra centers, right? You can all use that, but it's not just going to work with you copying everything down that I've done or using my exact symbol without using your own, because that's not going to work for you. That's not your unique symbol, okay? This is basically where I say is that all astral technology, everything about yourself is unique. So you have to create in that uniqueness. You need to allow that unique brand of yourself to come through, and this will work specifically for you because that's your symbol. This is your schematic. This is everything that you have created together. That's why it will work a lot more better in regards to what you are able to personally create and personally imprint. Okay? Thank you very much, Duro, for your question. Okay, we're going to take one more question, then we're going to go into Adronis here. So let's see here. Okay. Oh, I think we're good. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Adronis in right now. I'm just going to check the time, make sure how much time we have. Okay, so we're going to start wrapping up here in about 15, 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is, since I've already really explained all this, Adronis is going to tell you the same thing. So I really went deep into this today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Adronis through, and we're just going to do a Q&A time, okay? Again, he would basically just be reviewing of everything that we shared today. So I feel like I've covered that very well, and he's already saying, yeah, just we'll get into Q&A, and that will be a better thing, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and bring Adronis through. So if you guys do have any questions relating to what has been discussed today with astral technology or anything else, let's just keep the questions semi-personal or general, okay? Please no personal questions, because again, we want to make sure that this is helping the group along, right? Everything in regards to what we contribute with questions is for the group. Yeah, it's kind of semi-personal questions that will help in regards to the group discussion. We can do that. But again, I say I leave personal questions to sessions, okay? So again, I will just take a few minutes to connect with Adronis's energy, or a few minutes, a moment or two, to connect with Adronis's energy. He will come through, and then we'll go ahead and ask some questions. So he's going to do his introduction. I'll come out of the state. And guys, if you have any questions, just feel free to place it on the chat for Adronis. When you are writing a question to Adronis, make sure you just put Adronis and then say your question, okay? So I will go ahead and bring him in, and we'll get started. Terra Soul Star Adronis. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning into this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We will state that, again, this conduit has done a very good job in regards to sharing, much in regards to the principles that we have shared in instruction to him. And so basically what we will share primarily in this state of conclusion is that the idea of astral technology is what you would consider to be a modern way of actually being able to function within galactic community. It is not, shall we say, a idea that is so advanced that is beyond many civilizations. It is quite common ground. It is what many of you would understand in your own modern society of working together in your digital age, your digital technology. That is very, very convenient for many different beings upon your planet. The same thing goes pertaining to astral technology. Now understand that there are spacecraft that actually utilize astral technology in this way. There are spacecraft that are actually powered by singularity drives, and they're actually able to, through their own means, transport themselves into different dimensional currents that represent vibrational signatures. So you will discover that as you move more into the fourth density, that as you start to discover much in regards to how these ancient ships, in that way, ancient spacecraft, have actually been able to transit themselves throughout the galaxy and other components of other galaxies, that it has all been based upon the idea of working together with the astral realm, working together in this form of astral creation. So again, everybody on your planet will eventually have the opportunity to see how this truly benefits your planet in that way, based upon its usage. So again, like everything else that you have discovered, you needed to go through the trials and tribulations about what not to do before you can understand something that is much more grandiose, something that is much more higher in regards to the capacity of its content and of its capability, for you to understand exactly how this can benefit your society. This is again why you are going through this, shall we say, transformational gateway at this particular time, as it relates to crossing out of the shadows and moving into the light. So again, astral technology is quite common. It is, in that sense, being utilized quite often. Much in regards to, shall we say, technologies that are being built are often utilizing crystal forms of technology. So basically, utilizing the idea of crystal devices is actually one particular component of what you would know as an appropriate anchor to interface together with certain astral realms that are being broadcast holographically. So being able to utilize the idea of crystal intelligence and crystal communication and working together to holographically imbue the certain forms of astral procedures, the certain forms of astral instructions that you are able to convey, and being able to put it together into a grid is what you would consider to be an astral technology. Here's what we will say to many of you. Those of you who have created crystal grids, that is an astral technology. Basically, what is happening is that you are connecting these particular crystals into a matrix. These particular forms of crystals have a certain imprint, a design, a pattern to function together and actually harmonizing much of your own quantum fields through the use of, shall we say, quantum-induced instructions. And so when you create a crystal grid, you have created an astral technology. You have basically utilized the crystals as the interface, and everything that goes within those crystals are thought imprints. They are part of the astral realm that you have connected. You have brought the Akashic records into them, and now they work together in certain forms of imprints. Certain forms of crystals are already naturally designed to correlate and work together with each other based upon their own, shall we say, concept of design. And again, they imprint, they communicate with each other, just like you humans communicate with each other. And that is how certain crystals can work. However, you can also utilize the idea of crystal grids to associate certain forms of thought forms that will allow certain forms of healings to take place, certain forms of instructions, again, technology to take place. So crystals, in our particular perspective, would be one of the most dynamic properties used in regards to constructing astral technology, in regards to functioning as an interface. So that is what we can share from our perspective in that sense, as it pertains to astral technology and working together with singularity, the very power source that allows the imbuement of your own hologram, the imbuement of the energy source needed to allow this energy to culminate in that way to the infinite void that represents universal creation. We thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction, and we will now move into a question and answer period. We will now return to this conduit so that the question and answer period may begin. One moment, please. All right. Thank you very much. Very good point there with crystals. That's one part I missed out. Okay. Let's go ahead and move down to some questions here. Okay, here's one from Jeannie, and she asked, Adronis, what is the relationship between singularity and chi energy? Very good question. Okay, let's see what Adronis says about that. We thank you very much, Jeannie, for your question. As it relates to the idea of singularity and chi energy, well, you would understand that singularity is basically what you would consider to be the hub to what you would understand as all energy that exists within your universe. And so therefore, the idea is that you could understand this as a grand conveyance pertaining to where all energy circulates. Now understand that your sun is primarily responsible for all life upon your planet. Now, we are not just saying that in regards, oh yes, it gives us life. It gives us light in that way. No, we are saying that everything that represented the material to actually allow your planets to be your planets came the idea in that sense of the configurations from the sun, because it is your light source. It is basically the Stargate. It is the singularity that has in that sense not only produced all of your planets, but actually allowed these planets to become created, to actually allow all life to come together in that way. All water that came throughout your planets came from your sun. So again, this is giving the idea that the singularity would represent the bringer of life. The idea of chi energy is the life cycle appropriate in regards to the apparent ecosystem that works together in regards to the configuration of the breath. So what you would understand is your oxygen intake in that sense is configured and compatible with your own body to function together in regards to vitality quotient means. So basically what that means is that the singularity itself is, shall we say, the vortex to where all of this energy, all of this life is coming from. The idea of your own earth and being able to transit that energy into chi is an inner vortex of itself, being able to pull all this particular energy and become the dynamic planet that it is, so that the idea of the utilization of the oxygen that corroborates your own ability to function as a body is the idea of, shall we say, as above, so below. So basically, chi energy represents a sub-reference pertaining to the idea of all energy coming together into singularity. Because understand that your own universe itself is a singularity organism. And so singularity is the giver of all life. It is the idea that patterns all of this information. It is the code bringers. They are able to work together and actually being able to institute all of this code into an appropriate universe to understand that this is what you would know as its hardware. And that being able to bring all of this hardware into your universe, creator beings will come together and develop software pertaining to this hardware. And so everything pertaining to the universe functioning as this grand aspect of void containing dynamic represents that of the creators coming forward and being able to create, again, as above, so below principles. So chi energy in that sense is what you would consider to be breath energy. That's really all chi energy is energy through the breath. Because again, everything came from singularity. All right. We thank you very much for your question. All right. Thank you very much, Jeannie. Let's move on to another question here. Okay. This one is from Kevin, and Kevin asks, Adronis, can you give any insight into the twin flame runner chaser dynamic? I feel as if I have met my twin flame, but she seems resistant, even though my guides have told me, and I feel that she feels the same way I do. I have been an emotional support for her for a while, but feel she is taking me for granted. I feel like if I distance myself for a while, that'd help her realize, but I don't want her to run away completely. Okay, so I guess the overall question here is, can you give any insight into the twin flame chaser dynamic? Okay, one moment. We thank you, Kevin, for your question. Now understand, please. Now, we understand many of you utilize what you would know as the twin flame concept. Now, from our particular perspective, this is an invention. This is not what you would understand as a natural universal principle. The idea of a twin flame is something that you have developed in regards to corroborative relationship. It has been so well utilized in regards to functioning as a buzz phrase throughout your society that you feel that when you use it, that this in that sense must be something that brings about an automatic privilege that is not yet established within your reality. Our particular recommendation is to not really see relationships as twin flames or soulmates in that particular way until you truly feel that there is a connection that is giving you the idea of saying that this is appropriate. So again, what we're saying here is that many people on your planet utilize this idea of soulmate or twin flame or kindred spirit or union of souls, etc. And again, that is fine. But because that becomes such an exciting word or exciting phrase, many of you will feel that you need to go outside of yourselves to try and develop and attract a particular form of aspect that represents that phrase. So basically what this means is distortion. So the whole idea here is being able to understand that a relationship can be quite prosperous. A relationship can also falter. It is not just because you call it a twin flame relationship that it is automatically going to give you the bliss that you require. So the whole idea in that sense is going beyond the aspect of the relationship phrase itself and concentrating on the relationship. Now, basically the whole idea is that when two people come together and they are genuinely drawn to each other, there need not be any particular chasing. The whole idea of why there is chasing is because there is still not a form of symmetry that has been brought forward in regards to one particular partner that has allowed this connection to come together. So basically, when you are feeling that there is a chase going on, they are basically telling you in the subconscious, please stop for now. Let us being able to work together in other negotiations that's appropriate for ourselves. So in that sense, it is not about the feeling that you need to chase somebody, or that you need to, in that sense, constantly remind them and say, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. They know what you want. The whole key here is being able to work together in a partnership, in a union, and work together within the confines pertaining to that union. You have to understand that your partner, he or she, may be going through certain forms of situations right now where they are not quite able to commit. Now, again, that's not to say that they don't like you. That's not to say that they don't appreciate you. But right now, they are basically walking away because there is not that particular opportunity right now to click. There is not that opportunity right now to come together and harmonize and function together as a union. This has nothing to do with twin flame. This has nothing to do with soulmates. This is all based upon the idea of you listening and being able to really grasp what your partner is attempting to tell you. So it's giving yourself the idea of realizing that if there is a chase situation, if there is some type of dynamic, that he or she is being able to kind of walk away from this and is not able to fully commit. They are not really, in that sense, on many occasions, playing a game with you. They are attempting to tell you subconsciously that they are not ready without hurting your feelings. And that's basically the whole idea here. So our particular recommendation here is to stay within a particular alignment that is agreeable by both parties, by both partners, and being able to work together in that gravitation. When you are functioning in a reality pertaining to co-creation, it is all about gravity. It is all about gravitation. What skews a relationship is when one person empowers so much gravity that it's so much more powerful that it slingshots that particular partner out of the relationship because they want something much more. They want to do something much more. They want to have much more. And the other partner is not vibrationally compatible with those demands. And what happens is that this creates an upset. And that particular person says, I'm sorry, I can't be around this person because they are too overwhelming. They want so much so quickly. They want so much so fast. I can't give that to them. I like them. I appreciate them. I respect them, who they are, but I cannot give that to them because they are this very, very powerful throbbing energy. And I'm just not on that particular level. This is the idea of the disassociation pertaining to unsynchronized wavelengths. So basically, if you are this big pulsing light, very, very bright, very, very active, you want a relationship, you want to have this partner, it feels so good, it's a twin flame, it's a soulmate, it's a kindred spirit, it's soul union, it's so powerful, and they are just like this, you cannot stay in the same space. Impossible. So the whole idea here is if you want to have some type of relationship, discover the pattern of gravitation as it relates to the idea of singularity that works together in relationship. So rather than being this pulsing, intense energy of light and passion and enjoyment, etc., it's not to say that you're being negative. You are just being yourself, but you have all this passion. You have all this power flowing through you that's so intense that this partner can't handle it and they get burnt out and they have to walk away. And if you keep following and say, hey, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? They will want to walk away further, saying, I'm sorry, I can't be with you. You're too overwhelming. And so that's the whole idea as it relates to the idea of the twin flame relationship or the soulmate relationship. In all honesty, we do not utilize those terms because what we basically state is that you are looking for gravitational compatibility, vibrational compatibility. Yes, you all have particular forms of lifetimes with each other in certain partnerships. You do have those particular connections that come together. So what? The whole idea is that you are here now. You are this person now. Your partner is this person now. That does not mean in saying, well, we shared times in Atlantis. We shared times in Sirius, Pleiades, in Arcturus, and Lyra, etc. Yes, you did. Now, what are you here to do with each other? Sometimes, yes, that can lead out to relationship, and that is quite wonderful. Sometimes it's just basically the idea that you are coming together in a different form of way to helping yourselves culminate and resolve situations. So it's not just the idea of saying that, hey, I had a past life to you, we must be partners. That needs to be it here and now. No, doesn't always work that way. Now, we're not saying that, again, other people have come together in that way and that they have had quite a harmony. Yes, that can fit. But we are saying that the same glove does not always fit on everyone's hand. And again, that's the analogy we want to give here. That is not to say that you cannot attract a partner. That is not to say that you cannot have a relationship. But you have to understand exactly why you pulse, why you have so much power, why you are feeling that you need to overwhelm a person so much because of this desperation. And that's the whole idea. You are pulsing like this because there is an insecurity. You are pulsing like this because there's something within you and saying that I need this other person and I cannot be myself until this other person is in my life. That is a disempowerment. The whole idea is that your partner is a complement to yourself. They are not, shall we say, your lifeblood, your life force, that without them you cannot live, period. That is not the idea. That is a sign of attachment. So the whole idea is if you're pulsing like this with so much passion, with so much feeling that I need this partner, I need he or she in my life, then that's giving you the idea that there is an insecurity there. There is something there that where you feel that you need to reach outside of yourself to feel complete. Whereas everything is right here, right now, through yourself. That's how it works. That's how it operates. Now, again, we have talked to many different forms of beings who are, again, in wonderful partnerships. People on your earth, people on others. And they have formed that idea because they're moving like this. It is equal. They feel commonality within each other. They feel this beautiful bond. They feel how they complement each other. Not one person is doing this and the other person is doing this. No, they're like this. It is compatibility. It is equilibrium. It is synergy. It is gravitation because they understand each other. That is a divine harmony. That is a divine union. When you are able to understand each other naturally, when you are able to authentically express yourself without the feeling of repercussion, when you are able to move into this energy that is so harmonious that you see how this person is a complement to your completion, now you have a blessed union. Now you have something very, very special. You're not chasing someone. They're not chasing you. You're here. You're in gravitation, like your star system. The planets that are orbiting around your sun are in gravitation, are in harmony. There's not one going super, super crazy and causing havoc throughout the entire star system. You gravitate in this particular way because you understand each other. You're not attempting to impress one another. You're not to say, oh, look at this, baby, I do this, or I do this, or look at this, I do this, I do this. You're not here to impress the partner. You're already together. You are already one. You are already symmetry. Everything that you do just feels natural to each other. That is union. That is what we want to share for you. Forget the idea in our particular recommendation here. If you want to still do it, fine. But we would say forget the idea of buying into the buzzwords of twin flame, of soulmate, etc. Look into the idea about gravitation. If gravitation leads you into symmetry, if you feel aligned and you are able to feel this dance of harmony, you feel it in your partner. He or she feels it within you. And you just know that you just enjoy being around each other. That you just enjoy feeling that you are able to share thoughts. You're able to share feelings, sometimes even without words. Nothing offends you about your partner because they are with you. They are one with you. That's the connection in regards to divine union that we are happy to share with you. That is the understanding. We thank you very much. All right. Powerful. All right, let's move on to, I'm going to take about 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap up for today. Okay. So here's one from Anthony. Anthony asks, hello, Adronis. I've been very interested in creating a fuel-less consciousness system for cars, as well as planes. Is there any advice you can give me on consciousness technology to a race who hasn't experienced it in thousands of years? Okay, very good question, Anthony. Thank you. Let's see what Adronis says about that. We thank you very much, Anthony, for your question. Now, again, understand that if you are basically looking to, shall we say, power certain forms of vehicles as it pertains to consciousness, the idea of cars, yes, can be done a certain way, but understand that it requires a very, shall we say, complex system in that way. Basically, you would need to work in regards to developing a particular form of device that would work together in quantum elements, that would work together more in the idea of quanti. So basically, that would represent, as we stated, crystal. Crystal would be one of your most highest applications pertaining to the idea of functioning as an appropriate vessel. Now, understand that during your times of Atlantis, there were, shall we say, crystalline forms of conveyances that were being used. The whole idea in that sense is that this also deals with magnetism and gravitation. You would basically need to work to something in that sense that could relate to the idea of some type of effect of anti-gravitation or levitation in that particular way. Now, it's not to say that quantum fields cannot work together in regards to solid states, but the whole idea in that sense is that to do such a thing would be to work very specifically in regards to biofeedback of quantum fields. It would also relate to the idea in that sense of incubating appropriate crystals that are in resonance in regards to certain forms of harmonic frequencies. What that basically means is that you're working with quantum fields, you're working with magnetic fields, and you're working together with sound. And in that sense, working together in these particular ways can allow certain forms of resonances to be powered in regards to that particular type of, shall we say, quantum conscious level. Now, it is a very, very advanced thing that you are proposing here. So the whole idea here in that sense is working together with conductive ores that may also be somewhat similar to the idea of, shall we say, your crystalline matrix. Again, crystals would be ideal. If there were other particular forms of ores that you could utilize, we would recommend the idea of what you would know as copper or gold in that sense, that represent that particular quality. But again, understand that that is not too much in demand pertaining to your societal nature. Many of you in that sense utilize more forms of precious metals, your irons, your steels, etc. So the whole idea in that sense is that much more in regards to the precious metals that would be appropriate, see a very certain value upon them. So again, our particular recommendation would be working together with the idea of crystals, but again, utilizing the idea of devices or components in that way, rather than feeling that you need to construct an entire device or an entire conveyance in that way, but actually being able to create a quantum component that could replace your engine, or a quantum component in that sense that could allow the propulsion to take place in a certain vehicle would be the place to start. But as we stated, this is very complicated. This again all requires the idea of working with specific quantum fields, of working with certain forms of magnetism, and working together with frequencies, and being able to utilize frequencies as the propeller in that way, as the propulsion, to allow the quantum fields in that sense to work together and in that sense harmonize. So you would understand that the sound frequencies themselves are the guiding principles pertaining to this technology, and being able to harness the quantum field so that propulsion can therefore come together. So the whole idea is that commonly this can create anti-gravitation. But again, there can be other particular ways, something that we really can't describe too deeply in regards to miscomprehension. But again, working with magnetism, working with quantum field, working with sound resonant frequencies is truly the key of being able to develop a device functioning in the appropriate capacities necessary for the materials that will allow the compliance of this energy to move forward in the state of propulsion to take effect to allow such a device to be created. But again, much more research would be needed for such a device to be constructed. We thank you very much. All right, great. Excellent question. Okay, so we're going to take one more question before we wrap up today. Okay, let's go down to the bottom here. Okay. Okay, well, we basically got singularity altogether. What I can say, Sergey, is that Adronis' perspective on singularity is pretty much the same as my own. basically looking into the idea of the inputs and the outputs. That's basically the information that I was receiving, not only from Adronis, but from my own guidance about how the singularities work. So his answer would be just very, very similar to my own. Okay, so I'm just going to use this last question here from Alexandra. Alexandra asks, pleasure to see you again, Adronis. My question is, with the technology in this class that we just learned, can I use it in my healing practice? With my client's permission, of course, create this grid with either crystals or energy? Or do I need to teach it to them to do it themselves? Thank you, and as always, much love and gratitude. Okay, very good. One moment. We thank you, Alexandra, for your question. In regards to the idea of you being able to utilize this particular form of technology in your class, or in that sense, working together with certain clients, you can utilize this. But again, as stated by the conduit earlier, that it is important that they are able to put their own imprint into the device. Again, this is a necessity. The reason why this is so important is because of holographics. You want to ensure that you are capturing the holographic imprint of your particular fellow client in that way, and ensuring that their imprint is measured into this device. So basically, our recommendation would be to give them a template of it in that way, rather than feeling that you're putting all the symbols in there for them, because that works for you, not for them. So if you want to create a template similar to what this conduit had developed earlier, where there are, shall we say, open spaces where they can create the idea of these particular symbols, that is something that you can do. So basically, the whole idea is that the template itself works together in the group consciousness. Because understand that all of you will have different interpretations about what the inflow of energy, what the outflow of energy, what the chakra means to you in that sense. You all have different ways. So we would say, if this is to be shared, let it be shared into an empty, configurable template with them. And yes, we would also recommend that this be taught with others, because again, you've all learned this today. And so you are more than welcome to share this with others as well, too, to giving them an understanding about how this works. Now, basically, what you have encountered today is very similar to how light circuitry itself works. And that light circuitry itself is an astral technology, utilizing certain forms of codes that come together in, shall we say, a flow in that particular way, is how these particular forms of configurations or palettes of light circuitry are able to work with your body. Now, the only difference really between light circuitry and astral technology is much of the astral technology is consciously created. When you are receiving light circuitry, you are basically receiving them subconsciously that is now coming into your conscious mind. And so light circuitry is not contrived, it is received. When you are working with astral technology, it is contrived. So that's basically the difference between light circuitry and the idea of astral technology. But yes, we would say that if you are very passionate in being able to share this model template with, again, empty areas that can be filled in pertaining to symbols and in regards to the anchor symbol point, this is something you can certainly share with others. This is something that we would always recommend that you can share and communicate with others to encourage to tell others as well about this particular device and method altogether. We thank all of you for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius. Thank you again. Farewell for this timing, and we now return to the conduit. We'll speak to you again, as now is forever, and all is one. Goodbye. All right, great. Well, thank you, everybody, for being a part of this interaction today. Thank you, Adronis. Love you as always, of course. And well, I hope everybody got some really great information out of today's class. So again, within about the next 3 days or so, that this video will be reconfigured. It's going to just be edited a bit, just to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. And then everybody will be receiving an email about downloading this particular video. And again, in the next few days, it will also be available in the Reality Whisperer library. Okay, so just everybody who has purchased it already will receive the copy. Everybody else will be accessing this in the library. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this today. Again, you can go to realitywhisperer.com, private sessions, digital courses, Reality Whisperer library, and a lot more free media on the YouTube channel as well, too. More videos coming up this week. But thank you, everybody, for being a part of this event today. And I look forward to speaking to you next month, Saturday, August 6th. We're going to be doing subconscious mechanics. So it's like part 2 of what we talked about today. So that will be happening on August 6th. And that information for that event will be coming up this week. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. Take care. Namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.